Welcome to the Smark Foundation podcast. I'm Aaron. This is Adam,
Oh, hi, Marks.
and we are here to talk about the best and worst of AEW for the last week, as well as a Call in the Ring segment and some news. I think we probably talked about Bailey like 3 weeks in a row already, but she
It's
keeps
our unofficial countdown. We
she
don't have a
keeps
date
pushing
yet.
the button, man. Like,
We we don't have a date for when she's actually available or when she's coming over. But the past several weeks, she keeps, like you said, pushing the button that gets all of us excited for what increasingly seems like her inevitable debut in AEW. Um,
yeah,
this week she what was it, she was I think it was an Instagram post,
yeah,
and the title of the song that was in, like, I guess it's not unusual for her to post workout videos or whatever, but I guess the
yeah,
song she used was titled All In.
yeah.
Like, doesn't get much more
On the
overt than
nose.
that
Yeah,
without being without just coming out and saying it,
yeah. And apparently, it's garnered her quite a bit of heat over on the Fed side, which
Wah,
I mean,
wah.
I mean, what
Do
are they?
something to keep her.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? WWE? Are you gonna release her where she doesn't have a 90-day clause? Because she's probably not gonna let you.
Yeah.
Like
Like
she's gonna
it's
make like you either have to let her go immediately and go wherever she wants and do whatever she wants, or she's
well
probably just gonna ride
if
out whatever this time is.
if they let her go now, she will likely have a 90-day no compete clause up to the point where, like, if the time she has left is less than 90 days, it'll run up to that. Like, if she has 86 days left, okay, it's an 86 day, no, really, so they could do that.
Yeah,
Um, but if her contract runs out, she can go somewhere the next day. Who cares?
yeah,
So, like, I think that we're close enough to the point, and I think she knows it, and I think that's why she's doing this. They're close enough to that point where WWE literally can't do anything about it
yeah,
because they can't punish her any further. They
yeah.
can't they can't hold her any further. They can't add any more injury time onto her contract. All they can do is not book her and hope that she cools off. But she's making sure that that's not happening.
No, no.
So,
It wouldn't
like,
matter. She could cool off for a year. She shows up in AEW as a surprise. The roof is going to come off the building wherever it is,
yeah,
and she's going to be hot immediately.
yeah,
Immediately, like you can't. I don't know, man. Like I hate that WWE holds on. Like they wrote her off TV like a month ago,
yeah,
and
something like that. Yeah.
like I don't like when they write people off TV and then hold on to them, especially no like she wants to go somewhere else. Like y'all didn't have this much of a problem in I mean, yes, there was a lot of jumping back and forth, but like in the Monday Night War era, we didn't have two. I mean, it didn't seem like they had a real problem letting people go and not caring where they went. Like
I see. To me, I look at it slightly differently. It's like, I kind of like that they did that because whatever nagging injuries she might have, she's getting time to heal up. She's sitting at home getting paid her guaranteed to do nothing but heal and think about creative ideas for what she wants to do with her next destination.
yeah, yeah,
Like, honestly, that's kind of best case scenario.
hmm
Like, I know she probably would prefer to work, basically, because that's how wrestlers are. They want to work. Like,
yeah,
they get some time off, and they're just like, it's like itching out of their skin. Like, it's just they want to get back in the ring. But honestly, this is probably best case scenario for her. Like, she knows how to work the internet fans, probably because she's a damn millennial and she grew up with this stuff. Like, a lot of her predecessors, of the people, a previous generation to her, when they were thinking of coming, going somewhere else, they didn't have, like, the savvy, the marketing, internet marketing savvy to, like, know what buttons to push and know which outlets to utilize. For God's sake, there's a reason that people still cite Zack Ryder as a huge turning point in how wrestlers market themselves.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the guy, say what you want about his skills in the ring or his character work or whatever. That matter is he was the first wrestler to utilize YouTube to basically create his own brand in a major way. Like, I'm sure that there were like other indie guys who were doing that on a smaller scale. He was the first one to really kind of break through the ceiling with it.
Yeah.
And you add Colt Cabana to that list with the podcast, the Art of Wrestling podcast that he created, and how that blew up even before he had CM Punk on the show in the wake of his WWE departure.
Yeah.
Like it was a huge deal. These people are pioneers. Bayley is part of the generation that grew up with that kind of thing being all around them.
Yeah.
As like a person in their late teens. So she grew up with the internet. She didn't, like it's a different thing. So it doesn't surprise me that she knows exactly which buttons to push, which ones not to, what to say what she can, to not say what she can't, to work it beautifully to rile up the internet fans and make us buzz with anticipation for her arrival. Doesn't surprise me at all. She's a smart girl who's been around this particular aspect of the marketing aspect of this business that WWE, even to this day, kind of lags behind in on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're very slow to adopt new things in terms of marketing. They were very, especially under Vince McMahon, were very old school. Mm-hmm. Like he gets all this praise from certain people for being an innovator. In certain ways he was. On the other hand, he was also progressively an older and older man who clung to really the old way of doing things. He may have pioneered certain things, but then he stuck with those things until they became outdated. Yeah. And he was reticent to accept and adapt to those new ways of doing things.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes for the better. I will say sometimes for the better. Like the whole price gouging thing that TKO is doing now that he's gone and not there to insist that it should be a family affordable price. Obviously, that's a bad thing.
Yeah,
that's shitty. It's so bad. It's terrible. So
it seems like
he is a terrible. I don't know. He is unequivocally a terrible person, but that aspect of his business, I'm glad that he stuck to his guns in that regard, because look at what's happened in its absence.
Yeah. I mean, say what we will about him, it's rare. I mean, Brett being like the most glaring one, but it's really rare for Vince McMahon to have ever offered somebody a huge contract and then walked it back. Like, yes, he did it with Brett, but at the time he offered Brett like a seriously large contract and business was way fucking down. So like, I mean,
I mean, by the time 1997 was around, it was on the way up.
Yeah.
It was the creative that had kind of issues more than anything.
Yeah.
He wanted to move in a different direction that Brett was hesitant to. Okay, whatever. And then what happened.
Yeah.
So.
But like, usually he stuck to a contract and, unless you fucked up real bad, and he used the release clauses, but then, they've released people, but like he paid wrestlers a fair market price. He wasn't asking people in the middle of a 10-year run where they were popular to take a half, pay cut, shit like that. Like there's definitely some way shittier tactics that TKO uses over what he did, but he's still a shitty person. I'm not trying to make excuses for that guy.
I would argue that he didn't offer fair market value, but only because he's the one who set the market value. Because for 18 years, it was the uncontested, pretty much only place that you can make real money. I mean, you talked about Dark Side of the Ring the other day, a few weeks ago, about TNA and how people were working second, third jobs as who was it? Was it
ODB? When
ODB
she was the
as
world
women's champion. As Knockouts champion, had to work multiple jobs to make ends meet.
She was bartending.
So, WWE controlled the market. So would I say fair market value? that's relative. And they were the ones who control the market, so probably not. They
Mhm.
probably thought it was because it was the only way to make any kind of money, but he probably routinely lowballed people
Oh, I'm sure he did.
more, what they were worth, except maybe for John Cena.
Cena, I mean, there were people, I mean, I'm sure, but like there is one thing the WWE did, and I don't know how AEW handles it. I'm probably pretty similarly to the way WWE did, but like that merchandising cut made people millionaires, man. Like it
Yeah,
straight
if
up
something
made
took
people
off for
millionaires.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. If you had a hot shirt, boy, you made some money.
Yep.
I know like I can name at least a few that definitely fucking made more money than their contract just on their merch.
Yeah, but
Stone
that was
Cold
always
probably being one of them,
that's always a risk though. Like that's not a guarantee.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
and also like it's largely out of your hands. It's
Hmm.
largely still in Vince McMahon's hands. I
Yeah.
think that part of the reason that a lot of like the favorites, like the internet favorites who were became kind of crowd favorites, got their squashes pushed and never got the real push over somebody like Cena, isn't because Cena was making so much money, is that he didn't want to pay anybody else any of that kind of money. So he put them in situations that diminished their own value so that
Hmm.
he could still get the labor out of them without having to pay them
Yeah.
what they were worth.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, how else do you describe what happened to Zack Ryder? Like
I can
he got
only
over
describe
on his
that
own.
as
He
yeah.
created a brand all on his own, and they didn't like it because they didn't have control over it. So they purposely built him up and then squashed him like a bug.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like Zach, but like, or Matt Cardona. I like Matt, but like he's a dum dum.
Hmm.
He's a fed pill dum dum. Like he still holds on to that dream. Like he's kind of a man child. Like I don't want to diminish him because of his hobbies. Like I mean, the action figure thing or anything, but like it does kind of speak to his mindset about he still kind of looks at business until it comes to the Fed.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like, this is the only place I want to be, even though it demonstrably treated you like crap before and is demonstrably treating you like crap again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, dude, wake up.
Right.
They do not care about you. They do not care about you.
Yeah.
And I think that's why TK didn't sign him
Yeah. I
because he
don't
was
think
like,
the
yeah.
AEW fans care about him that much either, really, to be perfectly honest.
If honestly, during the height of his King of the Indies thing, where he was very healthy for the indie scene, and he
Mhm.
was an active reason why it was thriving as much as it was in the wake of people coming back after the pandemic and going out and doing things again and stuff like that. I don't think you should take that away from him, but the goal was always to get back to WWE.
Yeah.
And as soon as he opened his mouth up about it, TK probably saw it as like, oh, okay, I see, I see you. You're another Miro.
Yeah.
You're another Malachi Black. You just want to wait it out until you can get back there. Okay, fine, go.
Yeah.
I see you.
Although Malachi had a different, I guess Cardona had, I mean, his wife working there and all. Same with Malachi, like, and it, like, I
Yeah,
don't, I mean, I would have said Miro too, but she came over to AEW and fell flat.
didn't change things.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean,
I was really hopeful that it would too because I like CJ, but
yeah,
eh,
but I mean,
whatever.
I think I don't know. I think with Bailey, the thing is like she's I actually, I think the big story, the one that people are waiting to break, and we made it not actually know until it happens, is that we don't know when her contract expires.
Nobody seems to. No.
Nobody, and I'm almost positive that the WWE front office is like going in and telling everybody like, hey, if you know, you better not fucking breathe a word because I mean I know Tony Khan is waiting for that date as much as the rest of us. He wants to
Yeah.
know when he can call her,
Yeah.
because and I guarantee like it can't be considered contract tampering because they're friends. But I know Mercedes has already called her, and they've already
Mercedes
had this
knows.
talk.
I guarantee you Mercedes
Oh,
knows.
she
And
knows.
I guarantee that Mercedes has told Tony Khan.
Mhm.
Guarantee you.
So I mean,
So he knows, not directly, so it's not tampering, but he
yeah.
knows.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the big thing is like, when is it up? Like, when is her deal up?
And
When
I
are we doing
think that the
this?
reason we haven't found out about that is partially due to what you said. But I think that Bailey probably finds it an effective marketing tool.
I
When
mean,
is it going to be?
it
When is
is
it going to
because
be? You know,
because if her contract
whenever
runs
she
out,
shows up, it's going to be a huge surprise and it's going to make a ton of weight. Arguably, like hers is a different case because we don't know. Like we know that the New Day got released. You can
yeah,
do the math on when their contract, their 90-day compete clause is up, or to an approximate like 1 week period. You
yeah,
can figure it out. There, I think it's up this week. Maybe I'm
I
pretty
think
sure it's up this week if it hasn't passed already.
we had.
Um,
Yeah, I had a count on that. Hold on a sec. Let me actually check.
yeah, let's look that up.
The 90-day no compete clauses for the New Day members, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, following their WWE departure, officially end July 31st. So they're over.
So yeah,
They could
it's done.
literally show up
They can
anytime.
do whatever they want. They're just getting their ducks in a row, and Tony Khan's getting his. Um,
And
there's a theory. There's a prevailing theory that
oh
we'll talk
yeah,
about when we review the show.
yeah,
But like with them, it's like because there was an actual countdown, and because it was part of a widely publicized slew of controversial firings or releases, or however you want to describe it. I think it's a different thing because we don't know. With Bailey, there's an air of mystery around it, and because of that, I think it may almost be worth it to not tell any soul who doesn't absolutely need to know,
yeah,
and to
don't, because
drop
it'll
it as
leak.
a surprise, because that would probably make bigger waves when it actually happens.
Yeah,
Um, if I had to guess, she'd probably show up at Full Gear. I mean, World's End at the latest. I would
yeah,
think.
I think so. That it just depends on when it actually ends, because it looks like from what I'm seeing right now, she signed late December 23, and the official duration has been kept private, but her statements and other reports indicate it was a multi-year deal running for 2.5 years, set to
But I
expire in
think,
late 2026.
but I'm pretty sure she got injured somewhere in the middle of that too.
Yeah, so
So
that could add time for sure.
yeah, so we'll see. But either way, I'm excited. No news to anybody that I'm excited about this. I think
Oh
this is
yeah,
going to be a huge get. Um, yeah, every time she does something like this, it's like I'm a little bit more agitated because I want it to be now.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I'm wondering. I mean, would it be too on the nose that her shit expires like the day before All In, and she is
I
there?
think that's too soon.
Because
I don't think it's that soon.
I don't think so
Um,
either.
I
But
think the earliest would probably be All Out, but I don't even think it's that early.
maybe not. I don't
Um,
know.
what I will say is that unless there's something specific in her contract that I don't know about, I don't know if there's anything necessarily preventing her from attending as a fan.
I don't think anything would be. I mean, we might.
Um,
I'm seeing a lot of
if they
reports.
catch, if they, I'm wondering if maybe there is though, because they've already announced the AAA and NXT double shot to counter All In, and you would think that if she had if if she had that option to go there, which she would probably take, given her you know desire to go there and to support her friends, her best friend in the entire world, you would think that they would advertise her as booked for the AAA or the NXT show.
You would think.
You know,
You would
I
think.
think the NXT one is in Chicago. I'm pretty sure CM Punk is scheduled for that of all things. So, I mean, and he's
Everyone
the WWE champion right now. So, I mean, showing slumming it in NXT.
WWE
So
will never get it, man. Like you can't get it is not going to affect AEW at all for you to counter program it with CM Punk.
it's
I'm
not
sorry, like
about that. It's not about siphoning fans from AEW. It's trying to plug the leaks of people who would rather. There are people who would be curious about the biggest show AEW has
yeah.
in the year and whatever hype that may have. It's about people. It's about retention. It's not about gaining new viewers.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if their retention level is going to be that great with an NXT show and a AAA show. I mean, AAA is going to be great, of course, but well,
like, isn't their champion like a fake mobster right now? Like, what are we even doing?
Tony D'Angelo, I think, might be the NXT champion if I'm not.
Like,
But
is it like
I don't know. I hate
what are
that
we
guy
doing?
and his gimmick. So, where are the Italian civil rights groups protesting that asshole? Anyway, but yeah, Dark Side of the Ring this week was Paul Orndorff.
Mm,
Um, it was really fucking sad,
yeah,
and mostly about the dangers of elder abuse because it turns out that his condition was deteriorated so badly because his wife would not give him his meds or take care of him at all.
why not?
I don't know, but basically his son called like elder protective services and they took him to a home, which is where that infamous video came from.
Yeah,
And they basically like because of the way his wife treated him, they had to like put him in like supervised visitation type shit.
yeah.
Where like his son was basically his guardian and caretaker. And God, it is fucking so like you literally it's literally like just a few minutes from like this guy is at the top of the world and even with an atrophied arm he's killing it
Yeah.
to he didn't get his meds for his dementia for long enough that it took him.
Oh,
And it was just so fucking sad. The Renegade one last week was sad, but this one was fucking because this is a guy who like I actually liked and I was a big fan of his as a kid. And then, like even when he betrayed Hogan, I was like, he's still pretty awesome. What's wrong with you guys? Like, but in WCW, I always thought he was like an effective, like kind of older guy enforcer that he played. And I always thought he was
yeah,
fun to watch. And, he was the guy who was basically responsible for putting the nail in the Renegade's coffin because he
yeah,
was the
yeah,
heel that got cheered versus the baby face back when that was a big fucking deal.
yeah.
So, I mean, great career. I really don't want to go too much into the shit. Just fucking take care of your fucking parents and your fucking significant others when you're in advanced ages. Like fucking Christ. Like do not just fail to give them medication and care like that.
Yeah.
The level of negligence is just palpable and gross. But yeah, so that was Dark Side of the Ring last week. Just too sad. I don't want to get into it too much. And then we've got Dynamite.
Yep.
Okay, I will say this really quickly because I got to get my big gripe out of the way.
Yeah.
And this is for both shows. Okay. Las Vegas, you're a boo-boo ass crowd. I'm just gonna say that right now. You're fucking.
They were better on Collision.
They were
oddly
better on
enough.
Collision, but boo-boo. And I mean, I kind of understand them being better on Collision. The matches on there were hooey, but
Maybe they were a more sicko crowd.
maybe they were a more sick crowd. But I don't know, man. They were very bad during Dynamite for sure, and not really great better during Collision, but not great. And also, whoever's responsible for the so I talked to you about this while this was happening to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the HBO stream had shit audio. the whole, like, I literally had to turn it down and just try to watch because it, like, the audio was really fucking things up for me. And
Yeah, I didn't have that same experience on my AW, so I'm
yeah,
wondering if maybe it was just the HBO stream.
yeah, see, I
Because I
think it
mean,
might have been.
if there was a good version of it, then on VPN, on my AW, then the chances are pretty good that the TNT and TBS versions of those shows were fine as well.
Yeah.
That I don't think that the majority of them would be bad. Either they would all be bad, or one would be bad, and because of
Yeah.
the service that it's on.
Yeah. Well,
Ah,
it was bad. And I tested everything. So like I tried a new HDMI cable in my Xbox just to see if maybe it was my HDMI. Still did the same thing. I put it in my headphones, still did the same thing. And I've used all of those things post the show. Like I
yeah.
used my headphones today at the gym. I used my TV after that, play games on or whatever. So like I know it's not my TV or my headphones that were causing that issue. And like going back and I checked it out today. There's still audio issues in the replay
Mm,
of the stream. So it's definitely audio issues from HBO. And it made Collision really fucking hard to watch. So
yeah.
those are
I'm
my
sorry
big
for
gripes.
that.
Those
It
that's
sucks.
most of my that's most of my negatives out right there. Like most of the rest of this is going to be positive just because like I was really high on the wrestling, really high on the show, but and the shows, but that those sound issues for that fucking Collision broadcast were ah well, amateur shit,
Yeah.
man. Like HBO, get your shit together. You guys have been doing this. I've been an HBO and Max subscriber for like 10 or 15 years now. You guys have been doing pretty good up until now. So I don't know what's going on. Uh,
I don't know.
but yeah, besides that, we got so we're at Dynamite. We're live in Las Vegas at the Pearl Theater. I liked this casino venue. It was cool looking.
I like the venue, but I feel like it's not one that's conducive to good audio. Like good, like it seemed like even when they were loud, it was like it was swallowed up, and when they weren't, it was dead quiet.
Yeah.
Like I think it like the sound just gets swallowed up in that place.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I don't know.
yeah, so we
Just
started
the
off the show.
acoustics are off. I think.
Yeah,
So
they weren't very, it's not a wrestling venue. It's for something
oh
else.
no,
Yeah, it's definitely not a
I don't know.
wrestling venue.
No,
They
it had
worked
like
it.
an actual stage, so I'm sure it was for
Yeah.
like you know, you know concerts and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
as a stage in boxes, so it's probably for like comedy and concerts.
yeah,
But yeah, so we started off with Will Ospreay. Um, this was sad. Anytime like I see a wrestler like try to hold back tears in the ring,
yeah,
it's always really sad.
yeah,
Um, and the fact that he had to wrestle on Grand Slam Mexico, you know, a couple hours after finding out his grandpa died.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, good on him for coming out and entertaining us. Anyway, that match was dope. But
yeah.
damn, man, like poor fella. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
to really put it. Like I feel bad for him.
Condolences, man.
Yeah. But he kind of turned that into a decent little promo here where he's talking about
You know who wasn't in Mexico?
mm,
The champ is
yeah,
basically
oh
what it
yeah,
came down
yeah.
to.
It was down, yeah, basically down to Kenny Omega not being there in Mexico. But then he's interrupted by the Don Callis family, who kind of work him over a little bit until he's saved by Kenny Omega. Um, I am not sure yet, and I know I'll get my answer in less than 2 weeks. Like it's literally 2 weeks from today. I will get my
Yeah.
answer. But and that's not a very long time to wait. But
It's weird to think that it's that soon, honestly.
why are we adding all these accessory people to this 1v1 feud that we all very much want to be just a really great one-on-one match?
To give them stuff to do.
I mean,
And to draw parallels on how they handle it, I guess they both have common enemies and they're handling it different ways.
Mm,
Um, and you know, fact of the matter is, like, if you want, this is like the WWE way of handling this would be like putting them in tag matches against each other, whereas Tony Khan tends to, for these big matches, want them to have mostly hands off or hold off on contact until like the very end,
yeah,
like right before the show. Um, so he wants them wrestling often enough, especially with that promo that Osprey cut. You know that the direction of his character is Tony's going to book him to wrestle every single week up until then
yeah.
to draw the parallel. Whereas, Kenny Omega's here, but he's not here as much as Osprey. You know,
Mm,
and you could argue that he can't be, but I think it's specifically to give them stuff to do, to put them in matches that
hmm
make sense that you both want to cheer for them, for both of them, for differing reasons, but to highlight their different approaches.
yeah.
Um, that said, I would. It's like we're running back Don Callis stuff again. Like, are you ever gonna just get over it? Can we just get over it?
I
Like,
mean,
I can appreciate a forever grudge. Okay, there's not to say that you can't come back to things, but it's like, what? Unless, like, it would make more sense for Don Callis to be interfered if he was trying to weasel one of his guys into the match,
yeah, but not
somehow,
happening.
and it not happening, and then have him be winding up in the gauntlet anyway. Like something like that. If you were trying, other than to me, it's just on the one hand, I see where it's coming from. On the other hand, it's just stuff.
Yeah,
Like anytime that Osprey and Omega are interacting, I'm interested. This other stuff, when they're in the ring, I'm interested. It's the in between stuff, the promo stuff with Don. Like, I think Don Callis is an incredible manager, and his stable is way too big because he almost by necessity has to have his hands in way too many pies at the same time.
yeah,
And this is one that he didn't need to touch. He didn't, but they're doing it anyway because they're easy antagonists. So, and with shared history. So,
yeah.
like, if you really want to take care of Kenny Omega, why are you not sending Okada after him?
Right.
The guy who, except for that one time, pretty much had his number on every single occasion.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a lot of extra. Like now they're both in trios matches next week,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about. But
I
like,
imagine the stories they'll tell in those matches will draw comparisons or contrasts with one another in specific ways that they'll want us to point out.
yeah.
The other notable thing from this was Kenny Omega's delivery. He came in with a pipe to save Osprey. He said that he was, that was the last time he was going to help him out. But I guess in the process, he quoted Voldemort from Harry Potter, and it took a few days for people to realize it, but now people are kind of up in arms about it.
Mm.
Um, uh, I don't think we should support J.K. Rowling or anything she does, but this was a way that didn't give her any money. Like, it wasn't, and it took a few days for people to even realize it. So obviously it wasn't like that overt,
hmm
And you know what? Maybe he's just doing it because he's quoting the bad guy by saying you will lose everything or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's teasing that after this match, Kenny Omega is not going to be a babyface, whether he wins or loses. I think he's turning heel.
Mm.
And I think maybe this is, I mean, if you're aligning yourself with a bad guy, it's always touchy when you're like doing, uh, alluding to real life bad people like J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could see. I don't think anything that Kenny has ever done has ever suggested that he's like a bad person ever.
No. No, I don't think so.
I and I think that while this was a poor decision, I don't think that, I'm seeing a lot of people like just turn on a dime on the guy. That's the far left for you. You screw up one time, and they'll never let you forget it. Everybody's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's disappointing, and I'm sure that he's going to hear about it, and I'm sure he's probably going to address it at some point. Probably after All In, once the storyline is played out, if I had to guess. But yeah, that's the other thing that came out of this was that several days later, people realized that he was quoting Voldemort and kind of got a little anxious about it, I guess.
Oh man,
So
he quoted a movie that he probably loved before he found out the author was an asshole. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
like
he
most
named
of
his
us.
cat Dobby,
Yeah.
like, and that was, I mean, what he's had that cat at least as long as AEW's been around.
Yeah.
So at that point in 2019 or whatever, we didn't know to the extent that J.K. Rowling was an evil person.
Yeah.
Like, we knew she was a billionaire, so there was probably, to the extent that all billionaires are kind of evil, like, um, eat the rich and all that. Like, she didn't seem specifically particularly evil until a few years ago when she really started pouring on the transphobia and going complete mask off, saying, "Yeah, this charity that you're donating to, I'm going to use those funds to fund transphobia
Yeah.
and try and get UK laws to actively, oppress a marginalized community." Uh, this was before all. What is he going to do? Change the name of his cat
Yeah.
that
No.
he's had for at least 7 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it. So, if if anything, it's a testament to the kind of the echo chamber that Blue Sky is, that we kind of don't want to admit that it is,
Yeah.
because then it would force us to look at ourselves and the people that we surround ourselves and force us to change our behavior. Like, the fact of the matter is, a lot of people, when they put a lot of emotional investment into something, it's hard for them to break it. The people who can do that on a dime are in the vast minority. And those people are really lucky, because I wish I had that. I pour my emotions and invest in things, and it's really, really difficult for me when somebody or something disappoints me in such a way. Like, it took me forever to cut the cord from WWE. It
Yeah.
took me a long, long time to do that, because I had been a fan since as far back as I can remember, and they just kept adding things, reasons to quit, and then AEW came along as an alternative, and then in 2020, the final straw, which probably shouldn't have been the final straw, but the final straw came, and it was just, I quit. It was, I have a lot of sympathy for people who can't let go as easily as just, oh well, they said the wrong thing, I gotta be a 100% hater now. Like,
Yeah.
you can say what you want about the unhealthiness of parasocial relationships and stuff like that, but the fact of the matter is, like, people, this is the age of that. This is the age of the internet has bred rather all these parasocial relationships. The more we invest emotionally in the things that we like, the more disappointed they're going to be, and the harder it is for most of us to shed that, to find the resolve to shed that
Mm-hmm.
once it becomes time. And
Yeah.
so I have a lot of grace for people in the middle of that process. Whereas most people on Blue Sky, whether it's because they are part of that minority, that it's easy for them to do that, and they just don't understand why other people have the emotional attachments that they do or whatnot, or because they're doing it for clout, because they know that's what gets them attention on Blue Sky, or a combination of the two. Regardless, whatever it is, I see that behavior and it's like, I really wish you guys would give each other a little bit of grace before completely jumping down each other's backs. Like, can you talk to each other like people and say, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but this and this and this. Or are you okay because this and this and this? Instead of just, you're an evil person because you liked this photo on Blue Sky. Or on Twitter, rather, more likely.
Yeah.
Or Instagram. Like, it's, I don't know. Call me a sap, but I want to give people the benefit of the doubt because I know that I'm not the only one who has trouble letting go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's some cost fallacy thing.
Yeah.
Just because I know it's a fallacy doesn't make it any easier to slough it off.
Yeah, Blue's got to be that way though. And like, I got called a human trafficker because I watched WWE, because we covered WWE for a while. Yes, they did eventually draw a line and said that even I could not. Yeah. Even I, with my incredible ability to ignore things, I could not ignore. Like, sorry that I have a past in journalism, and technically what we do here is wrestling journalism, but it's not really.
I don't consider it
that's that. We are not journalists, but if we looked under categories of where our podcast is, it's in like wrestling journalism and wrestling podcasting. So that we're radio personalities, basically, like very.
Yeah. I do not consider myself a journalist at all.
Yeah, we're basically radio personalities, but radio personalities are considered journalists. I don't know why, but they are. And now, I'm not saying I am one. I'm not a fucking journalist. I have a history in journalism. I took a lot of journalism classes. I participated in a bunch of different newspapers. Like, I have a history in it, but I'm not a journalist. And like, I just covered WWE because we wanted to cast the net as wide as possible. We were a brand new podcast. We had 0 listeners compared to our, couple hundred today. Thank you all.
Yeah. Hope we don't lose any of you.
Yeah, discussion. but it okay, I've talked about it before on this show, not like this, but I've talked about it before on the show. Where like, I am well aware that Ric Flair is a sex pest and probably an awful human being. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do have a shitload of good memories about that guy from being a kid. And so when people talk favorably about him in certain contexts, I give them the grace to do so because I understand. The Harry Potter movies, the original ones, like, I sat down when my kids were very little and watched all those movies with my kids.
Yeah.
It's a sentimental thing. It's not, I'm not like, I don't look fondly on that because I'm a transphobe. I look fondly on it because I spent time with my kids before I knew that the author was a complete fucking chud. Okay. Like, I was not terminally online like I am now then. So I didn't have any inkling of any of this. I mean, there were years before we started this podcast that I didn't use Twitter. I didn't use fucking Facebook. I didn't use fucking anything. I wouldn't have even had Blue Sky. Like, I have some of those things now because we have a podcast. So like, for those of us who aren't terminally online and just aren't immediately presented with everything like we are like on Blue Sky, like, sorry if some people just aren't at the same level of fervor as other people. Like, we don't know everything yet, like, you can't expect everybody to know everything about everybody. So if I hear a good band and then find out later they suck ass as people, maybe I don't listen to them anymore. But maybe if their song comes across my playlist and the really shitty person in the band is dead, looking at you, Lost Prophets, I'll listen to the song because I want the money that was supposed to go to the other band members, and this guy who's dead, now it goes to his family. Now I'm not worried about making this guy any fucking money because he's dead, and his wife and daughter still deserve a living off of the art that he created, and so do the other people in the band who didn't fuck with kids. Looking at you, Lost Prophets. Anyway, So I mean, yeah, I have my own things like just that same way. Like, oh god, they're shitty people. Fuck that band, even though I loved them before. You know, I
Yeah.
did. I was a big fan of theirs, and then it's like, there's that's a line. That's a line I don't fucking let you. You know, if you are in jail for messing with kids, there's a line. That's the
Yeah.
line I draw right there. Then if you get stabbed to death in jail for that same thing, then I will maybe listen to your music again so your bandmates can catch some residuals because I did like the songs. I just don't like you. The same way I'll
Yeah.
watch a Chris Benoit match, like maybe, his one surviving child will catch a residual because I watched it or whatever, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it, I understand people not being able to let go of things. And I don't think anybody's immune to that unless you are the marginalized person in question,
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Obviously, I get that too. I get how
but
that would be incredibly frustrating
mm,
to see people like me, like, having so much trouble when they're the ones suffering. So
yeah.
it's,
Yeah, no, I don't have trouble with it at
it's a
all. Do I?
complex issue.
Yeah, like I have a sentimental attachment to some of the movies because of watching it with my kids, but like I'm not watching them actively now. I'm not giving that bitch any money. I fucking agree with y'all that she's a terrible fucking person. And should they have, in hindsight, used a quote from her works on AEW TV after all of the attention they've given to trans rights and being, that being like, especially with Kenny being
Yeah.
like a thing, like, should they have done that? I probably should have thought better of that.
Just waiting
Am
for
I
that
going to
ball.
crucify him for it? Fuck no.
I'm
Fuck
waiting for
no.
that other shoe to drop. And you know what that other shoe is, right?
Hmm.
Because they're filming the most expensive TV show ever made, the Harry Potter series for HBO. They're probably, and because it's so expensive, they're slapping Harry Potter
Oh, there's going to be
branding on
ads on
literally
AEW.
everything. Yeah.
Oh, just like they had, there was a
Yep.
while they
Game of
had the
Thrones.
Peacemaker ads.
Yep.
They were doing
Game
Peacemaker
of
ads.
Thrones or House of the Dragon.
House of the
Like,
Dragon. Yeah, but that,
you
yeah, they'll,
know
I
it's
mean,
coming and it's going to be,
God.
it's going to be painful.
Yeah.
And I don't think that TK is going to have much to say about it.
I don't think he gets to decide. I think they own the ad space and they're going to play whatever they want. I don't think because I don't think he would
Well,
have let
I
him play
mean, I don't.
Peacemaker ads
I
when
mean,
that was
who
happening either.
do they own the ring skirts though? Like,
We'll have to see just how deep it goes. Because I mean, it's sold advertising space, but I don't know how the advertising contract works between all of their broadcasting partners because they have like
yeah,
four.
yeah,
So I don't know who owns what ad space or ad time or any of that. And so yeah, I would like to see how it's handled. But it's HBO, so there's going to be ads
hmm
for the show during AEW, and that's going to cause some conflict with the sickos.
yeah.
We could see that coming from a mile away. Anyway, I think we've talked about, like, I'm not trying to offend anybody.
Yeah.
We
Talked about it to death though.
we care
We're
about your plight. We do. We
we're
care.
40 minutes in and we haven't talked
But
about a match yet.
yeah. But here's the match right here. We got a 3-way for the number 2 spot in the Casino Gauntlet with MJF, Nick Wayne, and Speedball, and I really enjoyed this, man.
Yeah, really
But
smartly wrestled.
But MJF coming out with the leg taped insinuates to me that maybe he's not completely done being injured.
Yeah,
Maybe they're playing it for a thing where, like, maybe whoever's working him, maybe Andrade can work the leg or whatever. But like, that's a lot of tape, man.
yeah, it was.
But the match itself, though,
Yeah,
my
I,
God.
I liked how Nick got his little moment to kind of stand up to MJF
Mm-hmm.
after after learning from him a little bit. It's like I MJF was at his best here because he was just shouting to the rafters, the stuff that was going on in the match. Hit him in the body. If he's like this, it's gonna hurt him more than hitting him in the head. Like, here,
Yeah.
take a shot, and then Nick Wayne turns it back around because he goes to hit him in the head, he feints it. MJF covers up, and then he hits him in the body. He's like, thanks for the advice, asshole.
I love that. I love that so much.
Such cool little character moments here.
That kid's going to be
Nick,
a world champion one day.
he's Oh
I
my
think
gosh,
I'll call that right
he's
now.
so good. He's
I would
so
have
good.
said 10
He's
years
great right
ago.
now, and I don't think
Yeah.
he's legally able to drink yet.
Right.
Or if he is, he's just barely. Like
Yeah.
he's by the time he's done, he is going to be like a legend. I think
Yeah.
this kid has got it.
I mean, 10 years ago, I would have been like, when he gains 100 pounds, he'll be world champion. But now, no, it's different
No,
now. Now,
not
no,
in this
that's
company. This
we're
company, it
staring down
don't
the,
matter.
yeah, it don't matter at all. We're staring down the barrel of a world champion right there. Like that
Yep.
kid's, yeah, later rather than sooner at this point.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna. I mean, we have quite a cadre of world champion worthy people in that company, and so it's gonna be a while. But I don't. I mean, he'll be a TNT champion soon, or something similar to that. I bet. You know, I mean, he's already been tag champion. I'm pretty sure. So, or trios champion, maybe both.
Trios
Maybe both.
champion. I don't think tag. I'm pretty sure he was 19 when he won the trios championship with Christian Cage and then Luchasaurus. I think he was just then rebranded as Killswitch.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a long reign. They lost in the ladder match.
Yeah.
And then he was Ring of Honor World TV champion for a while, for like a year.
Yeah.
So
even
I
through
mean,
an injury, like he held it through an injury.
He was injured for a lot of it, but they didn't do like an interim champ or anything like that. So it that says less than it might than you would assume, but the kid's got it, and he's going to be like a foundational member of this roster for like 20 years.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought this match was really good.
Yep. Nick is there to tap out, though.
Yeah, Nick is there to tap out. Nick gives up the win to MJF, and then MJF, grabs the mic and plays his CM Punk stick. Because if this is not that exact same angle without the spray painted X, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on this one true champion thing now, and
yeah, you know what? Interesting thing though. Initials of one true champion.
Oh geez. Oh god. Okay, I didn't even think about it, but yeah.
He got mad at somebody posting an AI art of a T-shirt that's not real, saying OTC. And they put it like side by side to Roman Reigns' original Tribal Chief T-shirt, and he's like, "Take this down. This isn't real."
Well, of course he would say that.
He's a real one. Like Max the person's a real one.
Yeah.
Like his character, I find insufferable at times in a bad way. But I mean, when he crashes out from this, I'm really looking forward to him having the opportunity, at least, to grow and change his character. Because as I've long said on this podcast, he is in dire need of a character arc that winds him up in a place different than he's been in for the past 7 years. There was a brief respite, sort of, with the Better Than You Bebe stuff. It was entertaining, but it wasn't authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. As poorly executed as it was, I don't blame the Adam Cole character for what he did. Especially since after the fact, MJF went and said, "Yeah, I was actually planning on turning on you at some point anyway." You could say that as sour grapes and just just saying it to say it, to save face. But no, I knowing that character and how it hasn't changed and how he was still reveling in being our scumbags. Like, what is the scumbag thing to do? Oh, turn your back on the only friend who gives you the time of day. Yeah, that's an MJF thing to do. So I'm excited for this opportunity that he has to maybe make some kind of meaningful change to his character.
Yeah. After that, we got Divine Dominion in a bar, I guess the Brawling Birds bar. And
a pub. It's a pub.
Yeah, they're in a pub. But they basically talk about how, how can you want this this title match if you've never even beaten us, or and you can be undefeated but you haven't beaten us. And they're basically just saying that they're going to squash their moment, which I mean, if this was not in London, I'd buy it, but I don't. And that's the thing. Like, this is one of those ones that, like, I have a hard time getting into the promos that are happening, mostly because I feel like it's a foregone conclusion that
Yeah,
the
I think the match
Osprey
will still
clan
be
is
hard
walking out
hitting.
dual champs, like,
Match will be hard hitting. The predetermined or uh, the outcome, which is obvious, will still be a feel good moment, you know. But yeah, it's kind of telegraphed.
yeah, yeah, they're telegraphing it hard. All right, so next we got Mick Foley backstage with the Bang Bang Gang, which seems like his new permanent position.
Yeah, yeah. A unofficial member of the Bang Bang Gang, Mick Foley.
I
Makes
mean, he is.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, he does. He's
He's
the Bang
Mr.
Bang
Bang Bang.
guy.
He's
Yeah,
Mr. Bang Bang.
yeah.
Jim Ross called him that. He's Mr. Bang Bang.
So yeah, but yeah, he's back there. They talk about how he got David Finley without any outside interference and beat him, and now the dogs can go, do something else basically. Which,
Yeah. I mean, I doubt this will be the end of it, but
oh no, I don't think it will. In fact, I think them highlighting it so much, the no interference thing may mean that we do see some fuckery in the Continental Challenge Cup. I hope that's not the case, but I'm looking at this list of people who won these matches, and I'm like, there
you
might
can
be
do
some.
it one time to get massive heat, but then you have to let it go.
Yeah,
And there have to be like real consequences.
yeah,
Like if somebody's, for example, if somebody's got, scheduled vacation time or whatever, and you want to write them off TV, okay, have them violate the continental rules and have them be suspended or whatever.
yeah, something like that.
Then it at least appears in kayfabe that there are actual consequences for doing this, and then you don't ever have to touch it again because
Yeah,
it's been brought up, it's been addressed. The people on the roster will know that it's a real thing that you can't violate because they
yeah,
will have tested Tony's patience with it, and
hmm,
they will have FDO and FA. So FA. So it would you can do it once to as the exception to the rule to prove the rule.
yeah,
But after that, no.
yeah,
So you've got to be very judicious if you're going to do that. You have to make sure it's the right time.
yeah. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, that they're the Bang Bang Gang is really doing a lot of coordinated stuff now, which I always find. I mean, they're just funny guys anyway, so all of this is just
Yeah,
kind of over the top and silly, and I'm okay with that.
it's
You know,
fine by me.
yeah,
Uh, and then that leads right into Jay White versus David Finlay in the first round of the Continental Challenge Cup, and this was fine.
yeah,
It
it was okay.
was fine.
Yeah, it was
Like
fun.
honestly, I feel like if this is this was David Finlay's first singles outing in AEW,
Oh, was it?
I think that there's probably a reason for that. He's better suited for tags,
Yeah, yeah, I think so
which is
too.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that, for the record.
Yeah,
But like, I can see why they held off so long on giving the singles match. Like, oh, he's kind of like it picked up a little bit towards the end, but man, like this kind of dragged at the beginning, and
yeah,
it was you didn't even in AEW amongst the heels, there's kind of a feeling that like, yeah, this guy's good in the ring, and David Finlay is serviceable. Like, there's nothing like super unique about him. He had a couple of cool moves towards the end as they were ramping up to the finish, but
yeah,
um, like I think he had like a brain buster on the knee or something like that towards the end there. But
Yeah.
other than that, like it was like kind of basic stuff and not terribly interesting. And there were long periods where he just kind of beat Jay White down with very, very basic offense.
Yeah.
And it kind of slowed to a grind. Um, but at the end, Jay White goes over. He picks up a Blade Runner out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and he picks up the win. Jay White advances. Uh, at that point, he was joining Orange Cassidy, Claudio Castagnoli, and Eddie Kingston.
Eddie
So
Kingston. Yeah. After that, we've got Tony Schiavone out in the ring with, and he brings out the new trios champions, Hangman and Brodito.
I'm
And
not sure if the good and the bad and the ugly is official.
I don't think so. They're not using it really.
I
So
mean, yeah, they're still being like introduced as Hangman and Brodito.
yeah. So maybe that's just something that they came up with, that they're not really
Yeah.
using. But before they really get into anything, Swerve Strickland shows up, which
For the
all
first time
right.
in a month, like,
Yeah.
this is where my interest was peaked. I'm like, oh, okay. And this is where we kind of come back around to something we already talked about, is that how Don Callis just won't ever let Kenny and Omega and Osprey go.
Mhm.
Like, this is something you can come back around to because they haven't touched it in 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
almost, I guess closer to like 5 or 6, but still, like, they were purposely keeping these guys away from each other. And the reason that Swerve Strickland inserts himself back into this makes sense from a character standpoint too, which I feel cannot be overstated. He basically accuses Hangman of being like, this is what you're gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be carrying water for these guys? This is gonna be your legacy now? Like, I didn't go through all that hell with you just for like you to be happy slumming it, basically.
Yeah. But
You
then,
can't tell me this isn't a love story.
well, yeah, it is basically. But like, he kind of dips out because the lethal twist and the demand show up. But like, it took a while for me to realize it, and I was like, wait a minute, that's one guy getting involved in a trios program.
Mm-hmm.
And
a guy who doesn't have any friends in the company, but who's going to need to challenge for the trios belts. I wonder who that could be.
Who?
It's your boys, the New Day. I mean, that's the prevailing theory.
Yeah, but bring him in as heels? I mean, they're not going to get treated like heels.
I mean, they're not. But I mean, Swerve is accepted more. He plays a heel, but he's accepted as an anti-hero by the fans.
Yeah.
So and remember too, before they left, even though they followed up an incredible heel turn with a year of absolutely nothing, they were heels when they left WWE. Yeah. Technically speaking. But I mean, I think you're going to see them stretch their creative muscles in a different way than we're used to from them.
But a great way for them to get the ire of the AEW crowd is to come in on the first day and take something away from Hangman.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean,
you are not wrong.
That would be a really great way for people to be like, fuck those guys.
I tell you what, what's his face? Swerve hanging around with Kofi and Austin Creed is a big upgrade from hanging around with Trench. So
Yeah, that is totally
Trench
fair.
and Parker Boudreaux. So yeah, you know what? I'll honestly, as much as I like them, it's probably a step up from hanging out with the demand, or from the
Yeah,
current demand, the Gates Magny too. So if we're
it makes me
being
wonder though.
fair, he's upgrading. Um, I'm really like, it looks like that's the direction they're going in. I'm like, wow, trios really.
Instead of tags.
I really would have thought they would have done something with tags, especially since they don't have Big E along with them. You
Yeah,
know, as a healthy uh, WWE disconnected person along with them.
right.
So I don't know. I mean, this is definitely not where I saw it as going until the end of this segment, and it it does heat up this. That would heat up this division
Yeah,
as
it
more than
would.
just the champions and whatever random challengers they have at the time.
Yeah,
Some actual story going into it. And it gives something for Swerve to do too.
yeah. You know,
Like I was wondering, I assumed he would just be thrown in the gauntlet, but it looks like he actually has a story going into this show, which is better than nothing.
it makes me wonder if Tony sees it the way I see it, which is, I mean, between the New Day and Swerve, who else does ring entrance cosplays better than like those three guys?
That's true. I hadn't thought of that,
That makes me wonder what
but
they're going to
that's
come up
true.
with at All In. If they are indeed going to be a trio and they're going to be at All
Mm,
In, what are they going to come up
yeah,
with? Like I don't know. I'm kind of I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm actually kind of excited for it. I would like to see Hangman and Brodito versus New Day and Swerve. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I don't think so.
yeah. I don't think so either.
You
Honestly, I
know,
mean, the wrestling itself would be excellent for sure.
oh yeah, yeah. The
So
wrestling's going to be excellent. Plus, I mean that, and plus you're getting ring time with Kofi and Xavier as soon as they show up with Bandito, who's arguably a top 5 wrestler for this year, or top 3 probably.
yeah,
So yeah, I
top
mean,
three
like,
last year, probably top five this year.
yeah,
Even though he loses all the time in
yeah,
singles matches, like he's the Ring of Honor World Champion, and that means exactly nothing
yeah,
if he's
nothing.
not competing in Ring of Honor at the time.
Yeah.
So
So then we go back to backstage. We're with Renee Paquette and Willow Nightingale, and they're doing a close up. And Mercedes, like, basically ruthlessly attacks Willow right off the bat with the belt, and beats the hell out of her, and then calls her a
oh
dumb bitch. But that's not really what people
no, that
remember
wasn't a
about this
talking
segment.
point coming out of this.
No. Some fed pilled asshole was like, Sasha, come home, Sasha, we love you, in the middle of this. And it was picked up by the microphones.
Well, because everything else was so quiet because of the
Yeah.
acoustics in the building and the bad crowd. So,
Yeah.
like, oof,
Ugh. Woof, guy.
it
Woof.
really cast a pall over this segment for me. I just like, oh, this freaking guy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
who comes and pays their money to go to an AEW show with a specific intent of, by the way, he was slurring his words, probably getting drunk and fed naming, as somebody on Blue Sky put it. I wish I had come up with it. I cannot take credit for it. But fed naming Mercedes Monet and tell her that she should go to the other place that she was unhappy with,
Right?
and calling it home.
Ew.
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 Like, oh, who let that guy in? And why did he pay his, why would he, if I was, I'm deep in the AEW, trenches here. I'm not going and paying WWE so I can heckle their guys to come to the other side. I'm not giving them money. Like, they've already got
Right?
my money. They've already won. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Right? And besides, look, I'll just say this straight up. Like, Sasha, come home, bitch. I am like the one of the two of us on this show who's not that high on Mercedes. I'm not the like. I believe she's a wonderful women's wrestler. Okay, I'm not ever going to discount her talent, but I'm not the highest guy on her. I find her matches to be disappointing in the end because she doesn't take enough L's. But she is home, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
She is in a
She's where
place
she
where they
wants to
respect
be.
her talent at the level it needs to be respected. Being a tag team women's champion in WWE, we all know it. Don't fucking try to lie to me, is a throwaway position. She's somewhere where she's respected by her boss enough and that he recognizes the talent he actually has in the ring. She's one of the fucking 4 horsewomen, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
So she is home. Random weird Vegas guy who was part of a really terrible Vegas crowd. But after that, since we kind of got that ruined by Fed naming, I love that. I love Fed naming. That's great.
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for it. I'm not that creative, sadly.
But
I saw it on Blue Sky. I'm like, oh man, I should have thought of that. That's a layup, and it's so good. But ugh,
well, after that, we've got our TNT Championship match, which we were discussing a little bit last week. Vegas sings Jericho to the ring. I'm not sure if it's because they're singing Jericho to the ring or because they are just that willing to cheer for anybody who's facing Kevin Knight. It could be both. I mean, both things can be true at the same time. But I kind of expected the Jet to get a clean win here. And then Don Callis came out with him, which isn't normal. He hasn't been coming out with Don Callis these last few times.
Yeah.
And as soon as Don Callis,
they made it a point to say they wanted to do it on his own those last couple of times. But I was surprised. I was surprised when he didn't sit down at the commentary desk. But by that point, I was like, okay, well, if he's not sitting down, he's going to get involved in the finish. So I knew it was coming in some form or another.
Yeah.
For the record, the Jet bumped his ass off for Jericho and sold like a crazy person. And like, good on him.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think Jericho's offense really warranted that level of selling. Like, it was like, oof. It wasn't to the point where it was clearly not making fun of him. It wasn't Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan.
No.
Levels. It wasn't to, be a jerk. It was to show respect.
Mm-hmm.
But Jericho just isn't. He just isn't what he was. Like, he's still tough as nails.
I mean,
but like,
there was some shit in here that I was like, holy shit! Like the.
But like, his strides look terrible.
When Knight came over the top rope and Jericho like did the knee lift, like while he was coming down, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I mean, it's 90% Kevin Knight, but Jericho had to be placed right.
Like,
and had to do
he got that code breaker in there. That was good.
Oh,
I'll give the credit where it's due.
Yeah.
It was a good spot, pretty well executed. But like Jericho's strikes especially, like he's throwing more and more chops because he knows his punches look terrible anymore.
Yeah, and they kind of do. They kind of do. So yeah, I mean it sucks growing up in Amarillo as a wrestling fan because like I literally
Terry Funk actually punch guys in the face.
And be like, that's what a wrestling punch is supposed to look like. And so now, like, if you're not fucking basically beating up your homie and taking liberties with his head, I'm like, hey, your punches look fucking terrible. Like, but Jericho, like, he's getting down to like, and I hate to say this because I know we fucking harp on it a lot, but Jericho's getting down there in Billy Stark's territory. And boy, for somebody who is, this much of a veteran, like, figure it out, bro. Like, maybe stop punching altogether and just go with the chops or, something else.
You can't fake the chops.
Yeah, you can't fake that. So, but yeah, Jericho gets stabbed in the head with a screwdriver by Don Callis, who tries terribly to hide it and then just sticks it in his coat jacket anyway.
Well, I mean, here's the thing too. Like, he puts he puts Kevin Knight in the walls of Jericho, right in the middle of the ring, smack dab in the middle of the ring,
Right.
and then like he does this like motion with his head that it looks like he's trying to get Don's attention for the finish, and you can see Don going for it and interpreting it that way, and then you can see Jericho saying no, no, and Don jumps up on the apron, but he's like 10 feet away from anything of any way. There's no way that he can interfere. So Jericho has to drag Kevin all the way to the ropes unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Like there's no in character reason Jericho should do that in that moment because he's in the middle of the ring. He is in the prime position to execute that submission hold.
Yeah.
Just so that Don can stab him in the face with the screwdriver and then fumble it at ringside. And I'm of the opinion too that if you're going to use a screwdriver as a weapon, it needs to make him bleed every time. And that didn't happen.
Yeah,
like it's supposed to be a simultaneously blunt and sharp object.
Mm-hmm.
Like the blunt, the force is blunt, but the tip is sharp. So it should be drawing blood, and it didn't here.
Yeah, I will never understand why we don't draw blood, especially. And I was thinking, oh, maybe they have one of those blood rules, like the last couple of venues where they've had this issue, and then John, and then later happened.
Yep.
And so,
or maybe they didn't want it to. Maybe they didn't want to take away from that because they knew that was going to be in the end, in the main. And
I mean, maybe
water it down. I don't know.
But it is a screwdriver shot, though. I think not bleeding kind of waters that down. Like, I mean,
yeah, I agree. But that allows Kevin to get out of there. He hits a low blow and a crash landing to retain the belt.
Yeah. So Kevin Knight does beat Jericho, like we talked about last week, but in a shitty fashion, which I kind of expected a clean win here. So
no, because then you might see people actually cheering for him again. Jericho's one of those touchy guys where it's like he's kind of on the edge.
Yeah.
Of like if you beat him clean as a heel, like people might cheer that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Because of the circumstances surrounding Jericho. He's still very much in this weird nebulous area where he's like people still aren't really sure whether they can trust him to not pull people into the vortex again.
I'm about to say, you mean like a vortex?
Yes, exactly. So I think that people are tenuously, trepidatiously okay with Jericho's involvement and cheering him as a babyface, so long as he keeps up, putting guys over and being entertaining at the very least, and not pulling people into, this place where they're worse off for working with him as opposed to elevated.
Right.
So
like we did Ciampa right. Let's do the next
one
right.
We did Rico right.
But
Rico's easy because he can always get his heat back.
Yeah.
Tommaso, kind of easy. He's proving right now that he can always get his heat back.
Yeah.
Like they've put him against safe guys in that respect thus far since his return.
Yeah.
I don't think Kevin is still good enough in the ring that like he can pop an audience if he's too impressive in there.
Yeah.
So he's one of those guys who's so athletic that he needs to tone down his style in order to not get cheered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of his stuff is super flashy and crowd pleasing. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, man.
To that end, I think that they did the right thing the way they structured the match. He won by cheating. The finish was not executed terribly well. And that's mostly down to Don Callis misinterpreting of a cue that wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't blame Kevin. He did everything he
No.
was supposed to and then some. Like I said, he bumped and sold his ass off. So
Yeah.
and then cheated to win like a heel should. So
Yeah. Thankfully, I don't think this is going to be like a recurring program.
No, gosh, no. This
Because I mean,
was no.
we're
This
barreling
was.
to Kevin and Darby. So
I think this was to give him one really big profile win over the very first ever world champion. No, now he can say that he beat another world champion as TNT champion. Like he's beaten Darby, and now he's beaten. Oh, and he beat MJF. Technically, even though there was chicanery involved in that. Yeah. But now he's beaten Jericho as well. Yeah. So like this is a TNT, this is a mid-card champion holding the tertiary, maybe the fourth belt, and he's beating world champions. Yeah. I think that's signaling that he's just going to move the belt over to Darby and all that.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think there's any reason to give him so many high profile world champion wins this late into it, unless he's going to drop the belt and move up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or it's going to be I can be any world champion, especially or any former world champion, especially Darby, and then Darby crushes him.
He hasn't. Darby hasn't beaten him yet. He's lost twice to him now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So and Darby's due for the win anyway.
Yeah. After that, we've got the Death Riders backstage, and basically this is just Moxley talking about him and Jack Perry are going to roll the dice in Las Vegas.
Moxley says Moxley things.
Yeah, Mox says Moxley things. Headline for tomorrow.
Yeah.
After that, now is this, or is it going to be one of the collision?
Oh no,
matches?
It's definitely collision.
Okay,
definitely collision. No, Viva Van
had a hell of a showing. I thought
she did well with what I mean, they didn't give the match long, but she acquitted herself well. And furthermore, this was a step up for her because she was advertised ahead of time instead of this just being Chris Statlander in action.
Yeah,
she still got the jobber entrance, but it's a baby step forward. Good for Viva, and this is part of a trend that I'm seeing with TK pushing new talent forward. This is in a smaller way than some others, but like with this and with with the pushing of Kevin Knight as arguably, though not really controversially, the greatest TNT champion in the history of the belt. Now, I mean, he's not had the longest reign, but he's had the most defenses. He's defended it successfully against 3 former world champions. I don't think that you can really argue it.
No.
Between putting Jack Perry in the main event here, and with the match that we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, and then cutting the promo afterwards and setting something up further, like he's pushing new stars. He's basically seeing what WWE refuses to do and then doing the opposite. Like, I mean, the positive lessons from WCW: do what they are not doing, that their fans are complaining that they're not doing. Offer them the alternative.
Yeah.
So Viva looked pretty good. I mean, this was a short match. It wasn't like, I don't think it even got a commercial break, but Viva looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been cutting her teeth, and I shouldn't say cutting her teeth. She's a veteran by this point, but yeah, she's been, making towns in Ring of Honor for the better part of like 2 years now.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see some of the ROH folks getting called up a little bit more often.
Viva, I've never got to work her, but I know that she is like backstage at wrestling events. We like many, many times backstage at a wrestling event, I've had like the monitor showing what's going on out there. And then also a couple of different guys with phones around going, "Oh, hey dude, I'm streaming MPX from Dallas tonight too." Or, I'm streaming, PGW or whatever. People watched a lot of Viva back. I mean, like I've seen a lot of her because the guys in the back watch her wherever,
Yeah.
watch her matches from wherever while we're having our shows and stuff. So like I've seen a lot of her. Like she's totally over with the boys. And girls. I
She
mean, I
seems like
when
a
I say that,
cool person too.
yeah, when I say the boys, I mean everybody backstage, women included. We're all the boys. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Sorry. But she's over with the back, and so like I'm really glad to see her, making her way up and doing more, past ROH. My biggest fear is that we bring her in and then have her, become a part of the women's division here, and they just drop her back in ROH.
Yeah.
And
I think TK is more willing to do that now again too, since the Maya World experiment turned out so well.
it did too.
Like I mean, that was I don't want to say serendipity because it came apart with the background of horrible circumstances with her brother dying, and that was a major factor in the sympathy that she had in that Owen Hart run.
Mm-hmm.
But like, right place, right time, right person.
Yeah.
And it's paying off, and he's running with that momentum that she has. I think the success of that is opening him up a little bit more to doing that with more people. See, okay, I'm a little more willing to, throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Even this late into the run up to All In, which I think is telling.
Yeah. But yeah, Statlander gets the win with they called it a Wednesday night fever.
Excalibur, just whatever night they're on, that's the night it is.
Yeah.
I call it the Saturday night fever.
Yeah, it's a Saturday night fever. That's what I thought it was.
That's it goes much like her ring gear and her presentation and her music. It's in constant flux. So nothing is ever really consistent with Chris Statlander except the move itself.
Yeah.
So,
but after she gets the win, Mick Foley comes out and he gets in and he tells her that she's gonna be part of a 4-way TBS championship match on Dynamite. And I am weirded out by this because I figured they would build this to like All In, and also figured that Maya World would walk into All In as the TBS champion.
Yeah.
And also really don't want her to lose the title because of my personal.
She just won it. Like,
like, no, I mean, besides the fact that she won it, and I'm super proud of that. Like, I like would prefer her not to lose it. Like, maybe it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm just, I've worked with her before and she's such a nice person. I'm such a big fan. Like, I really don't want her to lose the belt.
Yeah. No.
So, I don't know, man. Like but I feel like this might be what happens. But I couldn't tell you which one of the three others are going to win it. Maybe Stat. I mean, the heels are not on the same page. There was like an after the show thing that I saw on YouTube where Persephone and Sheeta just basically are yelling at each other. And then Sheeta's yelling about Maya World and Chris Statlander, and Persephone standing behind her going, me, 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 me.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I hope Maya retains, because I don't like, it's refreshing to have a couple of short title reigns here and there, but we've had like 2 or 3 now in the span of the last couple of months. I'm like,
Yeah, the trio champions lasted a week, like.
Yeah. So.
I'm pretty sure Sheeta only had the TBS title for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Before Maya got it off her, so
yeah. I'm worried about that. Like we talked about it. Like given the chaos of your average trios match, I feel like if any belts should have a well-earned reputation for chaotic short reigns because of just the division lends itself to that, it should be the trios title.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't. It's so close to the pay-per-view. I'm wondering if maybe they do this, establish Maya World getting the win here, and then announce the women's gauntlet that we kind of assume is coming, and then all 4 of them are in it. I would
And
rather the TBS title get defended,
yeah,
but it's once again we're running into that. Assuming that a women's gauntlet will happen, you're you're running into the question of what's better: more women getting booked on the show in any way possible, or each match, having more individual matches with stories.
yeah,
Like, it kind of depends on what your priorities are. Like, I want those ladies to all get paid,
yeah.
as many women to get paid as possible. I would prefer that they all have stories and matches, and not just have gauntlet. But I think that's why they're hiding Tekla away. I think she's going to come back. Like, I would very much love her to be in a featured match, running it back with Starlight Kid or somebody like that. But I think that she's probably just going to show up. She's not going to be there all month, and then she's going to show up in the gauntlet.
Well, we had a bit of a
That
discussion
we
with
assume is going to happen.
Mike DeMark, our AEW rankings guy, about this. So you probably seen me say this, but I think Tekla is how they introduced Kairi Sane,
Yeah, I mean, I would
because
love
Kairi
that.
Sane is a former Stardom World Champion,
Yeah,
and basically, well, actually, I'm pretty sure if I didn't read that wrong, I don't know how many belts Stardom has, but she's held like 6 of them.
they have a lot.
So, but
Uh,
still, like it looked like she had held every major singles title and the tag titles and a couple other things in that, you know, promotion. So,
yeah,
if there's anybody that isn't Starlight Kid that would be perfect for this, it would be Kyrie. And recognizable enough because they don't have to change her name a whole bunch, because when she was in Stardom, her name was Kyrie.
yeah,
So, or it was Kyrie Hojo, but then she changed it just to Kyrie, like all capitals.
yeah. I think the
So,
main title is the World of Stardom
yeah, the
Championship.
World of Stardom Championship, and she was the World of Stardom champion. And I mean, uh, I just, I am pretty sure based on who her agent is now, because he's like a wrestling person who works with Tony Khan a lot, that she's not done wrestling. And because this guy works with Tony Khan a lot, probably not done wrestling in the United States. And I, I mean, of course, the sickos, me included, want Tekla and Starlight Kid run back. We want that. I want it to
Yeah,
happen. I do. Would I jump up out of my seat if Kyrie shows up as the Stardom representative to fight Tekla, because Tekla's just in the middle of All In the ring running her head, and then Kyrie shows up and they have a match?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna jump up out of my seat still. Kyrie's one of, like, if we're talking work rate WWE women's
yeah. She's
wrestlers,
awesome.
she's work rate, man. She's
She's
all work rate.
fantastic. Yeah,
I totally understand why she wouldn't want to be in WWE if she had an opportunity to be in AEW where she can work, like she
yeah,
can really work. And the murderer's row of people we had, despite all the injuries and everything, we still got a murderer's row of women for her to face, you know. So I think it's going to be that. I hope it is.
yeah.
If it is just a gauntlet and that's how we get Tekla back, cool. Either way, I think Tekla needs to show up at All In. If she doesn't show up
Yes.
before that, she definitely needs to show up at All In.
I
I'm
mean,
saying the
she
same thing
definitely
about
deserves a
Swerve too.
spot.
Yeah,
Absolutely deserves a spot.
yeah. I said the same thing about Swerve too. Like, if he's not going to show up before All In, he needs to show up at All In. But now that he showed up before All In, he's kicked up a lot of speculation.
Yeah,
So this kind of makes me speculate even more. But then right after Statlander gets told that she's part of a 4-way for the TBS championship versus Sheeta and Persephone and Maya World, then we have a tag team match with those 3 people and Thunder Rosa, who,
hmm,
look, man, I'm a fan of Thunder Rosa, Texas Pride all the way. Like, she's one of
yeah,
ours, and I've always get people from wrestlers, especially from Texas, like, are always some of my favorites, man.
yeah,
Um, some for some reasons because I've worked them before, like Maya, like, where I'm like, I really like
hmm,
this person. They're a nice person. I like working with them. They're fantastic in the ring, stuff like that. Or they just really are genuinely some of the greats of all time, like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and those are we love our own out here, Terry Funk. Like we love our
Mhm.
own out here in Texas. So I love Thunder Rosa. She's definitely, like she is Mexico, but she's Texas too. She's one of
Yep.
ours. But she
But
didn't look like she fucking belonged in this match, man. And I hate saying
yeah,
that, but by
I
God, I don't feel any other way. I tried. I watched it a couple of times just to make sure that that's the way I felt because I didn't want to say anything bad about her. And sometimes when I'm trying to be positive about this stuff, I'll watch it multiple times to make sure that what I didn't like about it was really worth not, like
yeah.
is it worth it to be more pessimistic about this? She didn't look like she belonged in this ring, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah,
I appreciate her contribution to AEW before this, but this wasn't it, man.
yeah. I don't know what happened.
I don't
She used
either.
to be really, really dependable, like in the ring. Like I hate talking about her like this.
Yeah, I don't
'Cause,
really like talking
ugh,
about it this way, but there is a noticeable like
yeah,
decrease
something's
in
missing. I
quality,
mean, honestly, the same can be
and
said for Sheeta,
that's
but
true.
she's making up for it with the character work.
Yeah.
She's balancing it out in other ways. But like, yeah, I mean, Thunder Rosa, I love her to death, but yeah, like it just seems like this this new roster around her has lapped her,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I mean, that's not
And
unusual for beginning AEW women's star. I mean, it happened with
no,
Britt.
I mean they've been around for 7 years
You know,
now,
yeah,
you know,
it happened with Britt. Britt was great, and
and
until we had
then
to start comparing her to giants.
yeah,
Like I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, you don't always want to like put the WWE ex WWE people above the AEW originals, but in the women's division, it's like there's only a few that like rose to the occasion when somebody who had a bigger
yeah,
name or a better work rate walked in.
yeah,
People like Statlander
and
and
Willow,
Willow.
yeah,
Like yeah, if you don't,
those are the two big ones that come to
those are two.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too. Yeah, so
Hater
like
though,
Hater. Oh yeah, Jamie
Hater's in there.
Hater.
Amy's,
Yeah, she's
Amy's
definitely
in
in
there.
there, but
And
like
Tekla. I
and
mean, but
Tekla.
that's towards the end. I don't know if that even counts because that was
Tony's
towards the end of this whole
yeah,
scenario.
that's more of Tony high. Like Tony has done a lot of women's hiring on work rate since he stopped
Yeah,
pulling in only WWE people.
yeah. I mean, this honestly, you can make an argument that the most beneficial relationship they've had interpromotionally has been with Stardom
Yeah,
because they picked Tekla,
yeah,
basically because they picked Tekla, and that's
yeah.
it. Like,
I mean, there's so
really,
many others. I would have never been exposed to some of these wrestlers from Stardom if it wasn't for
yeah.
AEW. But like,
Man, I'm
it's been
like,
some great ones, man.
I hate to
Hazuki is
keep
fucking awesome.
I hate to keep beating a dead horse here, but please bring back Starlight Kid. She was
Oh,
fantastic.
dude, I
She
loved
was
it. I love it.
stellar.
I love it.
I
I
want
love
I
it.
want her back on my TV again.
Something
I
about a
don't
masked
I
female wrestler that's not
it's not
not named
normal.
Sexy
Like
Star.
it's unique. It's uh it's an what do you call it? It's an attraction.
Yeah,
It's something that you don't see every day.
and she's really good, man. She's
Yeah, oh
so
yeah,
good.
she's great.
And fuck,
She's great. I've only ever seen her in that one match, and I was blown away.
yeah,
She
yeah.
gave Tekla her hands down her best match,
Oh,
and Tekla's no
without question.
slouch.
No,
But
Tekla's no
like
slouch, but yeah,
Tekla can work. But like that was far and away Tekla's best match in AEW
yeah,
for sure.
without question, without question. But this match, I mean, other than the glaring obvious thing where I don't feel like Thunder Rosa really fit in this match, it wasn't terrible. The match
No,
itself was not bad. It just
no,
Maya and Hikaru Shida and Persephone, especially Maya and Persephone,
yeah.
are just
They,
so good, man. They're just
and
so
it's so
good.
such different ways too. It's
Yeah,
great that you have
yeah,
the different flavors. Persephone, man. I feel about Persephone the same way I kind of feel about Nick Lane, except Persephone, because of the smaller division that she's in, she doesn't have as much competition. I feel like she's going to get there sooner
hmm
because she doesn't have to fight through so many people. to get that spot. She's gonna be the real deal, man. Like she's kind of already there.
Yeah.
Kind of like she's taking a lot of L's, but I mean, just look at her work. Like she's real good, guys. She's
Yeah.
real good.
She is. She's really good. She's solid, man. And that's a lot. She's really solid. But yeah, so Thunder Rosa and My World take the win.
I was glad to see the baby faces take it though, because the heels took it last time.
Yeah.
When it was the same match except with Hyan instead of Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't a bad match, just
yeah,
tweak here and there. After that we've got Darby Allin. I get backstage, maybe.
Yeah.
Couldn't really tell where he was, but he's had time to think about losing the AEW World Title, and that Kevin Knight's one of the greatest TNT champions ever, but he's not doing it the right way, and now it's going to be Falls Count Anywhere, which insinuates to me that the Don Callis family is going to be involved.
But it also speaks to being in Darby's wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, way in Darby's way. Kevin Knight is not ready for this, I don't think.
Can you imagine Falls Count Anywhere in Wembley Stadium? That's a lot of. I think they're doing this because they've already done a Stadium Stampede this year.
Mm-hmm.
So but they want one like crazy all around the town brawl. So I think it would be rad if they went across the street to maybe like work out with some of the pubs across the street or whatever and went down there. I think there are lots of options that they can do.
It's funny you say that because right across the street, right before the show, there's a What Culture Live event.
Yes, that's kind of why I think it
would kind of be hilarious if the match started there.
Yeah.
At the What Culture Live event, and then just like we come into the show and they're fighting already.
Coup for What Culture?
Can you imagine? It would. Yeah.
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 Most of those guys, I mean, especially it would be a coup because most of those guys actually, the channel tends to lean WWE over AEW with most of their contributors. There are a couple who are more sickos than anything, but I think it would be a coup if they got to work with AEW and AEW chose to do that with them when WWE won't give them the time of day.
Yeah.
It might change some minds.
Yeah. But we'll see how the stadium match goes. I mean, Falls Count Anywhere, Wembley, that's a lot of anywhere, man.
That's a lot of anywhere. That's a ton of anywhere.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that match. I really am. I like Kevin Knight's work rate. I love Darby Allin. I'm excited for this one. Almost as excited as I am for Ospreay and Omega, but it's just going to be different different kinds of matches, like they might both get 5 stars, there's a good chance of that. But it's just going to be completely different wheelhouses,
You know what else might get 5 stars? The match they just set up here for the international title.
Oh my God, dude. I definitely was like, it's going to be like Fletcher versus Takeshita again, but adding Okada and Okada being super cunty about it. Like, oh my God, dude.
So much for Pro Okada.
Yeah. So we're not going to get like a full on like blowout of the Don Callis family, but I feel like this may be the way Tony's playing it to get him whittled down to just like a normal heel stable. Is that he's just going to whittle one person off at a time by creating, and he's doing it in the future. Like before Takeshita was gone from the family, Okada was already kind of being cunty with Kyle.
A little bit.
I mean, he was buddying up with him to piss off Takeshita, but like he was being a little cunty with him in that regard. And now we've got it where we're about to see Okada just implode with Fletcher. One of them's going to be gone from the family, and we already have seeds that have been planted for Kevin Knight to be gone from the family also. Not probably
I think that's a longer term story.
It'll be longer, I think, but that might be the next guy, but that's only if, like, I honestly think that we get to this match and Don Callis is going to be involved in the finish in some way. And I think his involvement in the finish is actually going to cause Takeshita to win here. But I think that involvement may include him picking Fletcher over Okada, and maybe Okada is the one who's not in the family anymore.
I feel like I feel the reverse because Kyle Fletcher has a fantastic command over the English language, whereas Okada can speak English but doesn't, he can't cut the lengthy promo with the kind of charisma that Fletcher does because he's a native speaker. I think Fletcher benefits more from being separated.
Oh, I do too.
I think Okada benefits from having Don Callis talk for him.
Mm.
So I think that's, and I like he's talked up Kyle Fletcher, but he basically worships Okada.
Yeah.
So I think it makes more sense for him to side with Okada.
I mean, maybe he does. Maybe he does. I mean,
especially since Fletcher has been. Remember, he Don Callis chooses the people who stay loyal to him no matter what. Fletcher has been showing signs of independent thinking lately, and that is not going to cut it with Don Callis.
Okay, that's fair. That is fair. Okay. But yeah, this match is going to be fucking something, man.
Yeah, it's going to be
wild shit. Yeah, especially with the three of these guys. Like, oh god, I can't wait. But then after that, we got our main event of the evening, and that's Jon Moxley against Jungle Jack Perry in the first round of the Continental Challenge Cup. And I mean,
I felt like
Jack Perry's growing on me a little bit, man. Like he really is, like a fungus.
I understand the story they were telling here. I still think Mox got too much in.
Maybe, yeah.
Especially towards the end, some of those punches were embarrassing. Or they weren't punches; they were elbows. Yeah. To grounded Jack Perry is like, oof, dude, don't use that camera angle. Like it's exposing how bad those elbows are. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that Mox was protecting Jack. Yeah. Okay, I know I don't want him to be taking advantage of anybody, but like they look bad.
Yeah.
And that's not something
camera angle thing.
That's not something Mox usually has an issue with either.
No.
So like it's he probably was just trying to protect Jack, who was already bleeding profusely at that point. Like you don't want to hurt somebody who's already, running on empty because like he did not thin his blood out. That's for sure. No. And you could tell because on Collision, they taped a promo after this that they aired on Collision, and it was just hanging off of him, coagulating as you watched it, and it was gross.
Yeah, it was so gross.
But it added for the promo. I think it was a fantastic visual for the promo. But I don't think he took enough aspirin before.
No, man, it was bad. It was really bad, and. But
I liked the fire and the perseverance and the grit and the defiance that Jack showed. But I feel like he wasn't able to get enough offense in for it to really sink in. Mm-hmm. He never really thought he had a chance on his comebacks.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, like that, I saw a lot of meat in Jack Perry in this match. I'm very much
needlessly defiant.
Yeah, and like needlessly defiant while you're getting your ass whooped. Like I've been bloodied up before and stood up and called a dude a bitch because he didn't kill me. So
it's an effective psychological tactic.
It is. Yeah. If you're fucking bleeding, if you look like you're bleeding to death, and you'd be like, "Motherfucker, we ain't done yet." Most people will be hesitant. Now, not Jon Moxley.
It reminds me of Randy Marsh.
Hey, I didn't hear no bell. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's
Jon Moxley, the Bat Dad.
That's how I lived basically as a teenager, in high school. Like anytime we got into a fight, it was, I didn't hear no fucking bell. You
Yeah.
know, like I didn't hear no fucking bell. Like, hey, you better put me out, dog. I'm getting up. And I saw a lot of that in Jack Perry, and I was like, ah, God, he's just so fucking angry and defiant. And
Yeah.
I just I hate like I the circumstances of me not liking him were mostly because he took away or he was involved in the removal of a wrestler that I really like from the show that I watch, you know. But this guy is seriously growing on me, man. Like I'm impressed with what he's
Yeah.
doing character wise now. Like he was floating around there for a little bit after the incidents where I was like, this scapegoat thing's kind of stupid, and it was stupid when they brought it to AEW, and I was like, this is just like I'm just not feeling this guy. Like even despite all that, like taking his work as a standalone thing, I just wasn't feeling it that much. And now it's like, okay, like he's having great matches with Nick Wayne and Andrade,
Yeah, he's putting it together.
and
Yeah.
yeah, he's really it's coming together for him in the best way. And yeah, I'm kind of getting high on him now, and I thought
I
this
thought it
match
was
was
interesting
fucking
that
great.
they brought it up during the commentaries. Like that was the only pair of guys that you could put them in a ring together that they had, between the two of them, held every single men's singles title in AEW.
It's crazy that it's those two.
Yeah,
It's
but
it's
it
wild.
it does show where they are on the card though. Like it's like
Yeah,
Mox is your top guy. He's won all like the
the
top
big ends.
belts,
Yeah,
and then Jack Perry is the guy who's on the come up in between, making the transition to getting into that upper echelon. He's
hmm,
won all the lower belts.
yeah,
Plus, he's won the tag belts.
yeah.
So the only one that's missing from the entire equation is the trios belt. Although technically, when the Death Riders dropped the trios belt, it was Moxley who was part of that team as a substitute, if I'm remembering correctly. So
I,
even then, you can make the argument that yeah, the trios title is still kind of involved there.
was he not trios champion with Christian? Also,
Oh, I don't think so.
I want to say Jack Perry's been the trios champion, but I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up. Let's see here. Um, list of AEW World Trios Champions. Vacated. No,
No,
nope. He's never been Trios champion.
oh, okay. I thought he had been.
No, when Christian Cage was in it, he held it for a month with Nick Wayne and Killswitch. And they dropped it to the back. Well, they were the Blackpool Combat Club then, and
Ah,
all in London 2 years ago.
no, okay.
And then they dropped it to the Ops, but Moxley substituted in for Pac, who was injured.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Well, it was a good main event though. Really, really good, really good. And the after promo we'll talk about a little bit more later, but it was also really
yeah.
good.
Um, and you know what? Mox shook his hand afterwards too. Like
Yeah,
that's the seal of approval. The sweet kid still got the handshake in the end. So
yeah. But now we'll move over to Collision. Same building, same crowd. Little better crowd this time. Way shittier
yeah,
audio
I don't know.
for
They
me at
got
least.
better throughout the course of the night. It was
Yeah.
weird. You don't like ever see that development in a wrestling crowd, really.
Maybe that's the result of free casino drinks.
Possibly. Also, remember this was a live like it went live at 8 o'clock Eastern, but like they were in the Mountain Time Zone too, so their night got started earlier.
Yeah.
Than we probably you and I are in different time zones then, so than Vegas is. So,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, Lethal Twist took on Hangman and Brody King and Bandito, and this was a match. I liked this a lot.
I did
Hangman
too.
seems very much content to just be having fun in there now. Like he did this spot where he went out towards the end of the match. He went out and he did a moonsault from one of the balconies onto the guys, threw Blake Christian in there, and then hit a moonsault in the ring too. Like the level of energy from him was infectious, really.
Yeah.
And then obviously Blake Christian. I'm no secret I'm a big Blake Christian fan, and he and Lee Johnson have come up with some really cool, innovative stuff, tag team offense wise. Like this was fun. This was a lot of fun, and it got more time than I thought they'd give it too.
Oh, I got a lot of time. This was long. It was like, I don't know, like 20 minutes, I think, or something like that. It was long. It was not
Yeah,
a
I
short
didn't
match.
see
A
the
lot
official
happened.
time
If
on it, but
if it
like
wasn't 20 minutes, a lot happened and it felt like
yeah,
20
they
minutes.
packed it in. But
Yeah.
the finish came when uh, everybody was out of all the heels were out of the ring except for Lee Johnson, who got uh
Gonzo bomb.
well, it was an assisted like it was an assisted Gonzo bomb. Like it was what's his face? Bandito and Page each took a side and took two limbs, and they swung him into Brody, who caught him upside down and dropped him on his head with the pile driver.
It was awesome.
So like, I am a fan of trios tag team finishers. You don't see a lot of them. Usually it's like one guy's finish ends it. It's like so.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're committing to it by I love it when they commit to it as a trio. It's like, okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
do this. We're gonna have a trio finish. Damn it! Like yes, please.
Yes. Right.
I love it when they commit. I love it when they commit.
Um.
After the match, Ricochet and the Gates of Agony jump them though.
Yeah. Leave him laying
Yep.
and do the haha thing. God, I hate that noise. I hate it. It's almost as bad as Mark Quinn's fucking ha. Here's this little sex moan thing he does. Like it's what is with heel dudes making weird noises? Like it's part of the heat, I guess, though, because I hate them. So after that, we go backstage and we have Brian Cage and Hechicero backstage with Don Callis and Lance Archer and Lexi Nair. And she's asking Don Callis, if he's worried this would break up the family. And he's like, it's in the spirit of friendship. And either way, the family wins.
Yeah. I don't think that either one of them was convinced of that.
No,
but
I don't think either one of them were into that family crap. Nope. They knew they were about to go out there and beat the crap out of each other. But not before we get the conglomeration. Also, the conglomeration backstage with Lexi Nair, and Orange Cassidy is just worried that he might have to face one of them in the next round. Which, after the main event, I would also be worried about having to face one of them in the next round.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good God, that is we'll talk about it.
We'll get it.
But yeah, first we've got the Don Callis family versus the Don Callis family with Hechicero versus Brian Cage. And styles make fights, man. And
yep,
Styles
I like this
fight here, boy.
Both of them, I think both of them came out looking really good. I was worried that Hechicero wasn't gonna win. Like the way that they treat the champions from other promotions is like kind of suspect sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
I know that that CMLL doesn't treat they have a different outlook on their champions, and I respect that. But like Hechicero should not be getting. He's the champion of their heavyweight division.
Yeah,
he shouldn't be getting eliminated in the first round, and he didn't.
No,
like if you're gonna have him lose, and not make it to the finals, I understand why. I get that, but don't have him lose in the first round, and they didn't do it. So I'm glad there. My boy H, finish is kind of wonky though. I don't know if that was meant to happen.
I think maybe it was
It,
supposed to be a backslide. I don't know.
I don't
Like,
know. Like he caught Cage up in a what was a prawn hold or something.
yeah,
And he pinned him from out of nowhere. Like there was some excellent grappling in this.
yeah.
Which is insane because like how do you grapple somebody as enormous as Brian Cage? How do
You got to
you
be equally enormous like Hechicero.
well, I
Like,
mean, but like Echicero's a thick dude, but he's not Brian Cage. Like he's
that's
not got bowling balls for biceps. Like
true.
how do you like I'm very, very impressed with the way he was able to grapple with somebody of that literal like just magnitude. Like he's just
Right.
an enormous person. Even if he's only like 5'11. Like he's just thick.
Yeah. And even and despite Don Callis saying that the family wins no matter what, and this is all in good fun, after the match is over, Hechicero and Cage kind of were jawing at each other,
A
and
little bit, yeah.
we could see more cracks forming in the family there a little bit.
Yeah.
And like even the smallest shit, like them two just jawing a little bit at each other after a match, that's the type of shit Tony Khan will put into things to
Yeah.
plant a seed for something else, to something else, to something else, and suddenly we have a big tree growing up in the middle of the Don Callis family, and they're all split up.
Yeah.
Like it's, I see it happening. I see the grand division of the Don Callis family gloriously falling and not being on my television every 30 seconds. Not that I don't like the wrestlers. It's like when the Death Riders were the top heel faction. Like it was like seriously, you could like spend 45 minutes of a 2 hour show on just the Death Rider, like, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
like, throw it up a little bit. After that, we got Darby Allin backstage looking like a character from a movie that I'm not going to talk about. Uh, hood over his face, looking very spooky.
Oh, okay.
But he, well, I mean, we've already talked about why we don't like these, but
Yeah.
but he looked like one of those guys. And he's talking about how, what his biggest fear in life is and all this other stuff. And he keeps talking about, like people he sees potential in. And he talks about the Don Callis family in a way that makes you think maybe he knows that he understands that they may get involved in this Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yeah.
And then he mentions Sting's sons, who it wouldn't be out of the question for them to become involved in said match if the Don Callis family becomes involved in that match.
You know what? I think that's not a bad idea. Neutralize the interference in this all, the what would be legal interference in a Falls Count Anywhere match by having Sting and his sons come and help out.
Yeah.
Okay, I buy that. I think the crowd would erupt for it too. It's Sting.
Yeah. I don't know which kid. I don't know if it's Steve or James, but one of them, as I understand, has started training in wrestling and is actually very good.
Yeah.
So
apparently he's got the knack.
yeah, I mean, one of them was bound to, even though they both look just like him. Holy crap! They both got the look. One of them has the juice, though, apparently. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But just the way he did this promo made me think, okay, Don Callis family's going to interfere, and Sting and his kids are going to be the foil for that, which makes perfect and complete and total sense. The one person who will never, ever, ever betray Darby Allin will be Sting.
Yeah.
It will be Sting. He will never betray Darby Allin. I don't think that Tony Khan would ever book it, and I don't think Sting would ever allow it if he tried. So I think we're past the point of Sting's retired and all that. I think we're past the point of him turning on anybody. So
oh yeah,
he's gonna have Darby Allin's back forever just by virtue of Darby Allin being involved in his retirement. So after that we got I need more of this. Okay. I need more Leo Rush and the Rascals.
This was so weird, and I didn't expect to be as into it as I was.
Dude,
I liked
Leo
how
Rush is growing
each
on me, dude.
I and, I mean that wasn't the part that I was weird about. I was weird about like adding a fourth to a trios act. That's weird.
Yeah.
Um, what I really liked about it was that each of the Rascals had a markedly different response to the whole thing to begin with. Like
Yeah.
Myron Reed was like, no,
Nope.
no, 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 this is not happening. We're not doing this. Uh, uh, what's his face? Zach Wentz was like, I don't know about this. I'm uncomfortable. And then Desmond Xavier was like, well, he says he's got all of it. He's got all of them. He said, smoke him if you got him. He says he's got all of them. I say we give him a chance. Like he was all
Right.
about it. Like I liked that to begin with. They each had a different reaction instead of being all on the same page about it because it made what happened next more compelling to
Yeah.
see it eventually grow on the other two members. Like Zachary Wentz, I think was the first person that Leo tagged in, if
Mhm.
I'm not mistaken, in this match against these four guys. These four not quite Condors, because we'll get to those guys
Yeah.
next.
Well,
But
yeah.
uh what was the name? What was the name of these guys? Actually, we're not even at that match yet. But
Yeah.
we'll skip around
Wait,
because
it's the tag
it's going
match,
to.
right?
Yeah, yeah, but that's
We are there right after this
this
segment. Yeah.
this segment set up the match later in the show.
Mhm.
It wasn't directly after this, but we'll talk about it now and head back because like it was, it made sense. Uh, what was it? Joe Braxton, Fresco-Matic, Ice Williams, and Watson Williams. Or no, Watson and Ice Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the story of this match was Leo being a weirdo but being effective and winning over the Rascals.
Yeah.
And one by one, he won them over. And the finish came when they each hit an increasingly impressive top rope maneuver onto one of the guys, and encouraged all three of them encouraged Leo to go up to do. I assume it would have been his fantastic frog splash,
Mhm.
but he's like, no, I don't want to do that. He goes down and he hits the last chancery. That's an Austin Aries hold, and
Yeah.
he gets the tap out win. And like, well, it's not the last chancery because he didn't hook the arms, but it's essentially the same thing with his neck though. It's like a bridging, grounded, almost like a cravat, but like the kayfabe of it is he's cranking back on the neck while pushing his bicep into his opponent's throat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's got to be like the easiest submission hold to actually produce because all you got to do is hold the guy and bridge up and
Yeah.
not actually have to do anything. But as long as they sell it, you can sell the kayfabe of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I thought the match was
And then they
good.
pose afterwards, and Myron Reed is still a little bit like, yeah, all right. I mean, okay, but they're on the same page. And then as they're walking up the ramp, something else happens. But we're gonna double back
Well, speaking
to
of Leo
Divine
Rush,
Dominion.
I think we might have a further black card injection into AEW. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there is another character in wrestling called Blackheart, and they have been all over each other's social media the last couple of weeks.
Who's Shotzi?
Shotzi, and
I like
she is
Shotzi.
her
I think
and
she's
they
great.
have a really
She's
great
been
rapport
tearing up the
together.
indies since she got released.
She is definitely playing really well into his weirdness, and I kind of like it what I'm seeing on social media. So we may get Shotzi Blackheart in AEW just on the simple fact that they're creating a thing on social media.
For like 9 or 10 months, I've been pitching the idea of Shotzi teaming up with the returning Ruby Soho, like as a tag team. Like aesthetically, they match.
Yeah.
Tons of tattoos, into the same kinds of music and stuff like that. Like, I think aesthetically, you could advertise them as a unified front, and people would believe it.
Yeah.
I think Shotzi has been working her tail off. I feel like she should have been on TK's radar by now. You'd have to imagine. Um, so I don't know. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe this is the way into it. It'd be like maybe him isn't really a him, and it's Shotzi pulling the strings. Maybe
Maybe.
they'll retcon it that way.
Yeah. Her former characters also play into the Rascals thing pretty well too. So
Yeah. Well, yeah.
yeah. Because before she was Shotzi, she was Mary Jane.
Yeah.
The weed smoking female
She
wrestler.
definitely smoked them when she had them.
Yeah, yeah. Probably still is, to be honest.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, so we'll
Divine
circle back
Dominion
now.
is where
Divine
we're
Dominion.
back.
And this is our Condor, yeah?
Yeah, this is our Condor.
Yeah, this is our Condor. Poor Rochelle Riveter and Maserati.
They just got murked.
I wasn't looking at the TV when they said the names of these people. And when I heard that name, I was expecting like a Rosie the Riveter,
yeah,
like pinup type. And then I looked up and I was like, which one's which?
Actually be like a tag team though, because they had matching gear.
Yeah, they had it was very similar. So yeah, maybe they are a tag team. I'm not sure, but they got fucking destroyed, man.
They got murked, man.
Yeah, they hard. They were thrown to the wolves.
But yeah, Brawling Birds came out after the match, blindsided Divine Dominion, and threatens to put was it Lena, I think, through the table, the announce table, just like they had done to, I believe it was Windsor, the previous week. But Megan made the save for her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's the other way around. Lena made the save for Megan.
Yeah, Megan was.
And then they ran off with the belt, saying, "You'll never get these."
Which they will, but
they will.
Yeah. After that, we've got backstage from Wednesday night where Zeta Steele is talking about
some great eye makeup. Gotta say,
yeah,
I like the makeup.
And she was talking about her opportunity against Mercedes that's happening tonight. Mm-hmm. And then Mercedes was like, she was like, I used to admire Mercedes, but after what you did to Willow, I have no respect for you. And of course, Mercedes.
That was the final straw, really?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, girl, go off, but
Mercedes beats her up and then gives her that whole thing, who are you even, basically? Yeah. Which, I mean, makes sense. I mean, because really Zeta's pretty new and Mercedes is a goat. Yeah. So, I mean, we can do this. This makes sense. I'm not mad at her for being, bitchy about it or whatever. Like this, given the same position against somebody in the same stature, I'd probably be like, who the fuck are you anyway? Yeah. But, so, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I was like, because the first thing I thought was, she was like, I've lost all respect for you. I'm like, cool. But that's Mercedes. She doesn't need your respect at all. No. Sorry. As much as I like Zeta, she doesn't need your respect.
No.
But then after that, we go to my goddamn favorite match of this whole week, man.
Yeah, this was some good stuff. Good, proper Tekker stuff.
Yeah, you know me and my Tekker shit, man. I love that Tekker shit. And I love it when I know, like you were mentioning earlier when we talked about this a little bit, that when I can actually see what's happening.
Yeah.
And not just be like, oh, they went from this move to this move and not really notice the cool transition. Nigel has a habit of working things slowly enough that when he does a cool transition, you fucking see it.
I think part of it is, because he's slowed down with age and because he spent so long out of the ring. I mean, because let's be real here. He was gassed pretty quickly. That said, I mean, he fought through it, and he from a presentation standpoint, it didn't really hinder the match at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
In fact, if anything, it helped feed the narrative that he's the old gunslinger entering this tournament to get there in front of his countrymen, and he's going to have a tougher road of it than most people, but by God, he's going to try and make it there. You know? But yeah, like the wrestling is so athletic these days. People just jumping up around and doing like all sorts of stuff. And like I hate to sound like Triple H here or whatever, but like there is some validity at times where slowing things down in the ring is helpful. It is to convey a message, and like especially with grappling based, technical wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
it really does help to slow down so you can show the audience what happened. Because if you're just like all like, quickly, if it looks more like an amateur wrestling match, there's a lot that can kind of, how fast paced that is. A lot can be lost in the translation. He's like, how do you get from point A to point Z?
Yeah.
You miss all the stuff in the middle. So I actually really enjoyed, like you did, that they slowed things down so you could see. And there were Nigel's so cool. Like I love the spot where he'd been working Shibata's leg the whole time, his ankle
Yeah.
and everything. He had the worst ankle lock I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was
That
terrible.
application was bad. At least that may be how you actually like. I know that Brian Danielson has said that in legitimate grappling circles, that hold is called a toe hold
Yes,
and
total
not an
total.
ankle lock.
Yeah, because you're cranking the
Um,
toes.
uh, Maybe he had the proper application on, but from a pro wrestling aspect, since that's not how we're used to seeing it applied, maybe that's why it just looked so weird to me. But
Yeah.
but like there, he'd been working the ankle the entire match, and then at one point he's almost put to sleep with the rear naked choke, and then Shibata goes to hit the PK, and Nigel rocks back and lifts up his foot so that Shibata's ankle kicks the flat of Nigel's foot and just like destroys his ankle.
Yeah.
Such a simple, clever spot. Like
Mm-hmm.
I loved that little stuff that the stuff that catch can English style technical wrestling. Those kinds of things that you don't often see translated into a broader context.
Yeah.
I
I
love
shit.
that flavor.
I popped for the fucking foot stomp on this one, man. Like I was like,
Yeah,
I love when people like it does not happen enough, and definitely not enough people do it to speedball.
yeah,
And I'll just say
yeah.
that right now. Like in wrestling, like look, guy, bring back the good old foot stomp, man, because
Yep.
one, it is effective, and two, do it to speedball. Do it so much to speedball, please God.
Uh,
Like
Related to that, it was one of my favorite things that Jake Doyle does is when somebody's trying to get away from him, he steps on their foot so they can't get away
yeah,
from
so
him,
they can't get
and
away. Yeah.
then he just lariats the crap out of them.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a great, brilliant, very easy to understand and convey to an
Yeah.
audience spot.
Yeah. I mean, like you could be like, look, like a lot of people like they don't understand the pain of some things in wrestling. Like they'll see somebody get put in an ankle lock, be like, well, that's never happened to me. I don't know how bad that could
You've
be.
never twisted
But
your ankle? Who hasn't
but
twisted their ankle?
well, I mean that but they've never had anybody crank it like that. But you've definitely had somebody step on your foot or you stub
Oh
your
yeah,
toe on the fucking couch or like if you get like almost everybody's had their foot stepped on once or twice.
yeah.
And so like, oh man, it hurts when I get my foot stepped on. If somebody was doing it with actual malice, holy fuck. Like that can only I don't know. It's so simple and so
Yeah.
effective. Like that's one of my favorite things about British strong style is like still shit like that. Stomp the foot, pull the fingers apart, basically all the shit Pac does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
just little simple shit like that. I was like, hell yeah, he stomped his foot. Fuck yeah, get him. And then when he did the kick thing to the ankle was just brilliant. It was brilliant. There were so many things here that were brilliant. Like when he got out of the ankle lock, but he was keeping him on the ground when he like crossed that leg over and then pulled the knee upward.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that was so cool. I was like, man, just thinking on your feet and coming up with something fucking great. Because I don't
Nobody
know the
does
name
it
of
like
that.
him.
Yeah, I
And
don't know the name
I
of that
loved
move.
that this gave Shibata an outlet to be the wrestler. Because
Yeah,
he barely is ever given these opportunities to get on the mat and grapple with somebody. And this was a real highlight of those skills that he has. Like this match was fantastic.
yeah,
Different from way different than anything else they gave us this week.
Mm-hmm.
Nigel wins when he they pull the Bret Hart Roddy Piper or Bret Hart Stone Cold, whichever
Mm-hmm.
one you prefer, the spot with the sleeper that gets rolled up into a cradle for the pin. I
Yeah.
love that. Nigel wins and advances. Later on, during commentary, they say that unfortunately he's suffered an injury, the type of which they won't disclose, and they're gonna hold off talking about it until the YouTube special where they pick all the um next matchups for the Continental Challenge Cup
Yeah.
in the second round, which leads me to believe that it's a kayfabe injury to sell the story that he's got that much adversity, which tells me that he's the one that's facing Mox in Wembley,
Yeah, probably. I mean, he is.
which is something because this is a crowded field.
Yeah.
It is a crowded field of a
Golly.
lot of really, really talented guys.
Yeah, it's
They
hella crowded.
stacked this tourney.
Mhm. After that, we've got Renee Paquette talking to Osprey about how he's got, this trios match coming up with the Don Callis family, and he doesn't have the Death Riders to be his partners now. And so he talks about how he's gonna call in his guys from Japan.
Yeah.
So he's got a couple of guys from
Francisca, Kira, and Hanare.
Hanare. I like Hanare, man. I
Yeah,
need more
he's
of him. That
badass. I
guy's
like
crazy.
him.
I want to see him and Toa Leona go at it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
As soon as I was introduced to that guy, I was like, yeah, these two need to go at it.
Mhm.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
Right. After that, that's where we had the Rascals match we've already talked about. But as the Rascals and Leo Rush are leaving, Leo Rush comes face to face with Bobby Lashley for the first time.
Yep. And there's history there. Honestly, I thought he was a really good mouthpiece for Bobby back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was a blast from the past. Bobby no sold it.
Yeah, no sold it completely, but Leo Rush was like, I kind of know that guy,
Yep.
We should go over here and walk around these
Which
guys.
is weird because 2 months ago at Double or Nothing during Stadium Stampede, Leo got involved on basically on Bobby's behalf, and they completely no sold that interaction. So
yeah,
but yeah, if it wasn't gonna be the ladies who faced Divine Dominion, the Giant Condors, here to get crushed and disposed of quickly, was going to be these guys: Sonico, Judy Montana, Ro Montano, and Jake Redondo. Lashley.
I've heard of Sonico before.
Yeah.
Sonico's somebody I know. I've never worked him, but I know who Sonico is.
Yep.
The fact that he showed up in this match, I was like, he's an established guy in one of the Mexican promotions. Like, what the hell,
Oh. But it faced Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Shane Taylor, and Lee Moriarty.
Yeah.
Lashley and Benjamin kicked everybody's ass.
Yeah.
And then left.
At
MVP's insistence, he held up the money envelope that he got from Shane Taylor the week prior, and he called his boys back, and they just walked off in the middle, implying that, like, okay, you paid us for a certain amount of time. If you want us for more, you got to pay us more.
Yeah.
And so, like, they did what they were paid to do, and left the rest for Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. And with what little time they had left, they absolutely destroyed the guys again. All over again. Lee Moriarty was doing things that he wouldn't do in the pure rules wrestling contest. Yeah. It was definitely more high speed. I'm going to throw myself through the ropes with a speed nearly matching Darby Allin.
Good Lord, yeah.
Shane Taylor hits just a gnarly package pile driver. Poor Redondo, and just that was it. That was it.
After that, we have Ciampa backstage, and he's talking about the Casino Gauntlet, and he basically tells Andrade MJF basically, like, if you believe in a God, you better pray that I'm not number three, which
Yep.
tells me that he's probably going to be number three.
Yeah, probably. I'm okay with that. That's fine
I
by
am
me.
too. Yeah.
Get him in the match. Make sure he's
Yeah.
there. Deserves a spot.
After that, we've got Zeta Steel versus Mercedes Monet. They had their interaction earlier, and we get this match. Zeta Steel continues to impress me in the ring. She's good,
Yep.
man. She really is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
She's got the look. The half braids just on the top was kind of weird because it made her hair puff out on the sides.
Yeah.
Made it look really kind of funny, but still the wrestling. She backed it all up with wrestling, and she
No,
wrestled
she's
well.
yeah, they didn't have a lot of time, but
No,
it was enough to reinforce that Zeta, yeah, she's on the up.
yeah,
She's up and coming, and you should watch out for her. She's going to be one of these, you know, she's going to be one to watch in the couple of years to come. But after the match, Mona hits everybody with the Owen title belts.
yeah.
Christopher Daniels gets it, and God bless Christopher Daniels. He keeps getting beaten up by women, over and over again.
Starting to wonder if he likes it.
I think it's awesome that he's a guy of his generation who's willing to take bumps for the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many of these older guys who feel like it's beneath them or that their masculinity is threatened by doing anything like that. And Christopher Daniels has like no ego. Like he's just all about giving, and it's awesome. I love it. But then Will comes out to save him, and then says, she gets on the mic as Mercedes heads off into the crowd. She challenges her to a fight right then and there. Mercedes looks like she's gonna accept it for a second, and then hightails it. And Willow says, "Hey Mercedes, I'm still smiling, bitch."
I loved it. I loved this.
It was good. This was good. The angle, the match was good. The angle was even better.
Yeah. After that, we've got something we talked about a little bit earlier. We've got a bloody Jungle Jack Perry backstage after Dynamite, and
he looked badass with all that.
Yeah, he did.
Like he looked way tougher than his slight little twink frame would let you. MJF called him and Nick Wade a twink in their match on Dynamite. He got on commentary briefly at the beginning and said, "I'm going to let these two twinks battle it out and then pick my spot." And I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So he talks about all the people he's beaten or that he's faced at this level, and then Swerve comes down and he's like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, he wants to start facing and beating those world championship level contenders.
Yeah,
Samoa Joe, Kenny Omega, Adam Page were the ones he named, and then he said, "And you, Swerve Strickland," as he was off stage or off out of frame rather.
Mm-hmm.
Camera pans out to show Swerve's there, and he seems amused. Swerve is like, "I don't think you're there yet, guy."
And
Not
Perry,
yet.
Yeah, Jack Perry gets up into space and looks at his bloody hand, which I thought he was going to slap Swerve with, honestly. Yeah. And he's like, "I think I am,"
which was, I think, fantastic. I think that was the line. That was the line, the delivery, and the visual. That moment in this promo was what really put it over the top for me.
If they didn't end, it would have been perfect to end it right there because instead of the dick joke that they ended it on.
Yeah.
Because somebody tell me I'm not the only person who inferred that as a dick joke. Don't bring a knife to a sword fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought it was maybe he couldn't say gun.
Yeah, maybe he couldn't say gun, but he said sword, which infers, bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. My mind,
blade,
I have a fucked up millennial mind, so I went straight to this is a dick joke. I
didn't see it as that. I was like, oh, yeah, he's into anime. That makes sense.
See, dirty mind versus clean mind. This is.
Well, I wouldn't say my mind is clean. I just.
It's just not
Oh,
as cooked as mine. That's all. Like,
no, not yet.
uh,
Give it a
uh,
couple of years.
yeah. Well, and about 10 tons of pot.
Well, I mean,
Anyway.
there's that too.
um, anyway, after that, we've got Kenny Omega talking about how, he's got to get rid of the Don Callis family before his match with Osprey because he wants a healthy Osprey that he gets to face. And he's going to, he doesn't like bullies. So he's going to have a trios match with any three of them. And he's going to call up a couple of his buddies as the camera pans out to show the Young Bucks. So it's not really a surprise. We're going to get the Elite back
Yeah.
in a trios match. But then they're interrupted by Cope and Cage. And this is oh my God. You guys are
Line
old
of
enough
the
to be
night.
our dad. Who says I'm not?
Yep. Oh, boom.
Christian
Mic
Cage with
drop.
the I'm your dad jokes. He has perfect timing on that shit. He knows
And the
exactly when to
fact that
drop one.
he never breaks. That's the key. Is he
No.
never breaks. If I was going to deliver that line, I would probably bust out laughing.
Yeah.
But he just always stays in character.
It's amazing. But yeah, who says I'm not? I would love. I need Matt. They did talk a couple weeks ago about how their family's coming to watch the match, like the whole family.
Yeah.
So does Christian Cage interact with Matt and Nick Jackson's mom? Because he needs
it's tough because that crowd is going to be cheering all four of those guys. They're not going to be booing anybody. They're not going to feel like booing any of them. The only way you get them to boo, I don't think you get them to boo, but you get the wrong reaction if he did something and she didn't reciprocate.
Yeah. True.
That's the thing. Is like if she reciprocated interest, that from the crowd because it's like, oh yeah, this is the in joke that we're all a part of. If Mr. Buck, Mr. Jackson, or Massey, I guess, stands up for his wife, you can't boo it, but you also can't really cheer it because he's ruining the joke.
Yeah.
You can't let the joke happen because it'll get ruined by the logical thing that has to happen. So you're better off probably just not doing it. Unless you think that you want the crowd to try to boo. If you want to challenge them to boo Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, be my guest. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think it is. No, I don't. But then after that, we've got our main event and my second favorite match of the week. And
they beat the piss out of each other.
Kids, when I say on this podcast, and I have several times, that the best matches come from people who are legitimately best friends with one another.
They trust each other inherently not to beat each other for real. They'll beat each other for real, but they won't injure each other.
This is exactly what I mean. This is exactly what I fucking mean. This is a textbook example of people who are that comfortable with one another having a wrestling match. I mean, look, man, I've seen guys who are best friends have blood feuds in wrestling. Mm-hmm. It happens. You got a blood feud going on out there. Your best homies, you're going to the bar after the show, back in the back. I've seen this happen. I've seen the guys standing at Gorilla before their blow-off match going, so we're just going to really beat the fuck out of each other, right? I mean, we basically have to at this point, right? Yeah. You're really going to hit me? Like, yeah, man, sink a couple in.
Lay it in.
Yeah, lay it in, and let's just figure out what our volume is going to be, is what it's something like this. Volume in this case would be like, you're going to hit me as hard as you can. I'm going to hit you as hard as I can. We'll figure out how hard we're actually going to hit each other after that. That's what they mean by the volume. And a lot of these guys, when they're best friends, will turn that volume knob up to 11 and break it the fuck off. And that's exactly what happened here.
Yeah.
It was all the best kinds of this. It was all of it. They really just you could tell that they were going out there to have a fucking blast and just really kick the shit out of each other. And that's exactly what they did.
I think that was Tony Khan's vision when he booked this as the main event. He's like, okay, like there are other matches on this card that I could book that probably quote unquote feel more like a main event, but these two are gonna beat the brakes off of each other,
Yeah.
and I can trust them to do that. And because I can trust them to do that, I'm going to give them that spot because that'll probably be the thing that the crowd is into the most.
And they were.
Because they're going so hard. And they were. They had them immediately.
Yeah. We got Fight Forever chants here out of the crowd that barely chanted at all. This crowd barely chanted. What is wrong with y'all? Like, wrestling is for chanting. But they barely chanted at all. But we got Fight Forever on this one.
Yep.
And I mean, it's to
and
me
a little bit of everything too. Yeah, a little bit of striking, a little bit of grappling, a lot of countering.
Yeah, a lot of
to show that they knew each other so well.
Oh God, they knew. Oh man,
it's just
Roddy busted out different kinds of backbreakers because he knew Kyle would know.
Yeah,
and Kyle busting out different like grabs and kicks and strikes and stuff because he knew Roddy knew what he was gonna. I loved it. I loved I say Shibata versus Nigel was my favorite match of the week, and it was. But this was, I mean, God, this
was good. Ugh. This was real good.
Like the way Gordon Ramsay describes a tough decision on MasterChef, that's how it felt for me, deciding which one of these was my favorite. Because it was just the slightest of things, that I was I just like this one better,
This was, this one had a similar kind of finish to it, too. It was a kind of a cradle almost out of nowhere. Kyle O'Reilly rolled up Roddy to get the win. He goes to shake his hand afterwards, and Roddy is still in the moment and pushes him away. But then Orange comes down and makes the peace. I feel like we just had him make peace with the fact that he was part of the conglomeration, and now they're heading in a direction where they're breaking him off again.
I don't think so. I think this was just the heat of the moment.
Well, I mean, but it's fake. It's like you don't do that after a wrestling match that's predetermined unless there's a storyline reason or a character reason for it, right? Like, because it's not real competition. It's not. Roddy didn't actually lose to Kyle O'Reilly. It wasn't a real contest. It was a professional wrestling contest. It was a fictional thing. So, like, being in the heat of the moment, pushing him or whatever, to me, that says that's a story beat.
I'm sure it will be, but I don't think they're going to break them up. Not yet. Especially
maybe, because, to me, I feel like maybe the direction they're going in, because Roddy's been, when they've taken L's, it's usually, sometimes it's Orange, but usually it's Roddy. And, he's the one who's got visible gray in his hair and stuff like that. He's a seasoned veteran. Even though he can go, he was sucking wind, though, at altitude.
Yeah.
The perennial Energizer Bunny, Roderick Strong, was getting so beat up by his friend at altitude that he was sucking wind. I never thought I'd see the day. But they went hard in the paint. But I feel like the direction they may be going in is like he's getting older and he's like, I need to know I have one last run in me kind of deal. So maybe he chases the international title again, see if he can get a second run with that. And he's going to want his conglomeration buddies around him. And for various reasons, maybe they can't all the time. And so it's going to sow doubt. And in the end, maybe he's like, no, he's going to win the belt anyway. And they'll be here by his side in that very important moment. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Not sure.
I'm extrapolating from
the smallest of incidents.
The smallest of incidents of a push and then a makeup very shortly thereafter. So I don't know. I may be looking too much into it, but to me, you don't do the push after a staged combat unless you're doing something with it.
Right.
Because otherwise it makes no sense because it's not real.
But yeah, that was Collision and Dynamite for the weekend, man. They were really fucking good. They were
lots
really
to
good.
Talk about. I think I like Collision better, even though it had 3 squash matches.
Yeah.
They all served a purpose. The Divine Dominion one a little bit less so. That was basic, but like the Rascals one was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
For the 2 minutes that it was or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I guess there's just one thing left to do though. Since we're done with those, what do you, jog my memory? What was that thing?
We got to do like the pros do and call it the ring.
Yeah, that's right. Uh, this week, I don't know. I was feeling nostalgic, and there wasn't one incident necessarily or anything like that, but I was reflecting back on how many ship Lidmans that we've had. We didn't have one this week, but that we talked about on the show, and it just got me to thinking like professional wrestling. It's a hobby of ours and it's a passion of ours, but it's really really important in our lives, and maybe in ways that people don't even really imagine or understand. And so I was thinking, okay, how about we each share a story of our own personal lives where professional wrestling was the impetus for setting off a series of dominoes that impacted our lives in important ways aside from wrestling.
Mm.
I love alternate history and butterfly effect and all that kind of stuff as storytelling devices, and just let's say like what if this had happened differently, that kind of thing. I feel like there's lots of those opportunities in our own lives to reflect and be like, well, if this hadn't happened, if this wasn't in my life, none of this would have happened either.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to take the opportunity for us each to tell just one story, especially since this show is again going a little long, to just share some important stuff from our lives that wrestling has impacted in major ways that you might not have thought of. So Aaron, how about you go first?
Okay. Well, wrestling is very important to me. We've talked about it a lot. A lot of our personal histories with wrestling here on the show. We all, it's well established. I work in the business. I've been a referee for a long time. Wrestling's a huge part of my life. Besides spending 4 hours a week with it, I spend a lot of my private time on it. I it's constantly part of my social media. I interact with other wrestling fans, things like that. But really, I mean, when it comes down to wrestling, I mean, there's a lot of things. Like, I could talk about meeting wrestlers or this or that, or a lot of stuff we've covered on the show before.
Yeah.
And find some meaning in all of it. But really, if we want to get down to brass tacks, man, the thing that wrestling has given me and has done for me is that I at one point I was a very jaded, much younger than I am now wrestling fan. I had no intention of, like, at the time I wasn't part of the wrestling world. Like, I had done some training and I'd worked some shows, but I hadn't really dove in hard. I wasn't a referee yet. I was trying more to be a wrestler if I wanted to do anything in the business, but it just really wasn't clicking all the time. And so I'm a young, jaded wrestling fan, and in the very early stages of the internet, well, compared to now, I'm just trying to find other people to interact with that like wrestling, because I've got real life friends who like wrestling. But I mean, other than like a short period during high school and like just after, there wasn't a lot of like us getting together and watching wrestling or anything like that. Like, if I had pay-per-views, I have a couple friends or whatever, but like there wasn't like a lot of us, and so I go searching the internet for forums back in this day, wrestling forums. I gotta find some place, and I end up on Ring of Pride and Excellence and their forums, and then I end up over on the Lords of Pain forums, and realize the very different environments those two places are. Where we've got TDE and Rope and all these other, like, they're E-Feds. I find E-Feds. I find E-Feds at the same time that I find my very first, like, dirt sheet site. Like, I'd read Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I'd read, like, the mags and stuff. Yeah, I've read the after mags my whole life, but I didn't know that, like, dirt sheets had moved onto the internet and that it was a big thing, and that there was way more information about backstage happenings coming out in these online dirt sheets, and especially in Lords of Pain was, like, on point with all their stuff. Like, they knew, like, I knew shit way before it happened because of that site. But their forums were shit. They were garbage. I literally got called the N-word on my very first day on the Lords of Pain forums. And when I called the guy out for being a racist, I basically got swarmed by the whole forum telling me that's how it is around here. You're just going to have to get used to it. And no, I didn't have to get used to that shit. So I left. I stopped being, one day at the Lords of Pain forums, I was like, this is not the wrestling fans that I want to be around. I still read the site, but I didn't want to be around the people. So I ended up over on E-Feds, man. And I wanted to, I figured out what they were, and was like, okay, this is like doing promos, basically. And I got better at it over time, but my initial shit was crap. I wasn't winning any matches, quote unquote. I wasn't doing anything because my writing was shit. I didn't understand really the level of description and shit that had to go into it.
We were all teenagers at the time. Like, we had a rudimentary idea of what we wanted to do, but it was rudimentary.
Yeah, but I'm looking for a target, any target, anybody who I can just face off with, somebody to sharpen my blade against, basically. And I find this guy, and I can understand the way he writes. I can read and be engaged with his promos. And I'm like, this is the guy. Like, I want to be better. He's better. Let's get better. And I spit in his face on a promo.
You sure do.
And that one instance, I spit in a guy's face. And you know what I got out of it? I got one of my best friends. I got a groomsman at my wedding. I got a WrestleMania travel partner. I got my podcast partner. So if you really want me to get down to what wrestling has given me, wrestling gave me my foil, my bro, the nice guy to my asshole, one of my very best friends in the world. The guy sitting right next to me, his name's Adam. That's what wrestling gave me. And I'm a lot of people are like, oh, I got tons of friends. I don't fucking have a lot of friends. Okay. I'm a dick. All right. I'm free to admit that. I'll tell you all day long. Yeah. I'm the asshole. I am their asshole. Most of my friends are incapable of being the level of asshole that I am. And for good reason. They're nice fucking people. They need somebody like me to be a dick on occasion. That's what I'm here for. But what I got out of wrestling, out of one specific moment in a fucking RP promo written in text on a fucking forum 20 years ago, I wrote out, I spit a huge loogie in this guy's face. And what I got out of it was a 25-year friendship and a ton of really awesome adventures. And some of them you will never hear about on this show.
Yeah.
But I got
some things are better left dead and buried in the Mojave.
yeah, true. But I got one of my best friends. That's what wrestling gave me. I've got a lot of wrestling friends, but I I got a best one. That's what wrestling gave me.
I thank you. Uh, you get me crying on the show, man. That's okay. Well, I love you, man.
I love you too, bro.
I don't know how I follow that, but
That's why I was like, all
uh,
right, you want me to go first, dog?
all
Well,
right. Well, okay. So, uh, obviously, that is reciprocated. But what I was going to bring up, uh, what kind of got me thinking about this topic in the first place, just reflecting, I have a job where there's a lot of time to just kind of like think to myself. It's a lot of just kind of, I wouldn't say mindless, but it's a lot of uh, physical labor that is repetitive. So he's like, I know what I'm doing, so have a lot of time to think of myself. And I realized that among other dominoes to fall before and after, I kind of owe wrestling even more than I thought. So to back up and tell a story, uh, I didn't have many guy friends growing up. I had a lot of female friends. I think they found me to be unassuming, not dangerous, brotherly, if you will, I guess. Not somebody who is going to disrespect them or always try and get their pants. So, like, I had a lot of female friends growing up, and for those exact same reasons, not a lot of guy friends in high school. Uh, because guess what? Toxic masculinity starts early. So, coming back from college, it was actually coming back from I had did a Disney internship in Orlando for last 7 months of college. Tacked it right there on the end. And I came back, and I got a promotion at work, and I found for the first time in my life having a solid base of male friends in the department that I worked, and it got to the point where about a year or so into me being in the department, I was establishing a tradition that would last for 9 years. We all enjoyed laughing at bad movies. And so we instituted a weekly good bad movie night. We would rotate who would bring the movie. We would all sit through it. We'd all try, after not a lot of time, we all tried to punish each other with our next entrance. We would do themes sometimes. And eventually the group got bigger. It was originally me and my friends Ben, Johnny, and Jim. And eventually that grew to include friend of day one friend of the podcast, Elise, who on Blue Sky, and eventually she brought uh, Tracy, and that was kind of the core group for a while. It would expand and contract with several other people, but that was kind of the core group for a long, long time. This was established in, I want to say, 2009, and I think 2009, something like that. And we were all friends. We all worked at the same place in different departments, but in the same place. And so we all had that in common. And eventually it grew and grew until we were really, really close, really tight knit. Then in 2011, the area that I live got hit with a really big flood. They called it a once in 100-year flood, but it was the second such flood inside the span of about 5 years. So thankfully not another one hasn't happened since. So maybe those 100 years were just back to back. Uh, but I got flooded out of house and home. I was the house the my car was completely submerged, several feet of water. My the street that I was living on was so flooded and made such a visual that they used it for the national coverage of the news. Um,
Jeez.
it was a bad time, and Ben and Steph, who his girlfriend at the time is now his wife, who would be added to the group as well. Uh, they took me in for 3 weeks before I moved back home and regrouped later. Uh, it's in this time though when I was a self-described refugee at Ben's house that we had already decided that we were going to go do this prior to the flood, but it was definitely necessary during the flood to lift everyone's spirits. We were going to we had made plans to go to Buffalo, about 3.5, 4 hours away from where we live, to Night of Champions 2011. So September, I believe. So this was, summer of punk. Right
Yeah.
as it's kind of getting started, he had just dropped the belt at SummerSlam to Alberto Del Rio's cash in, the whole thing. So we were excited to go to take our minds off of this whole crap. And it was Ben and Steph and Elise, myself, and Tracy were the ones that decided to go. And John Pilling might have been there too. I think Pilling was there. But we got kind of bleeder seats, nosebleed seats. We saw a black man win the world heavyweight title clean when Mark Henry beat Randy Orton, which was cool. We got really, really mad when Kelly beat essentially hometown hero Beth Phoenix with the Divas title on the line. Pardon me. And we got really annoyed when Kevin Nash interfered in the street fight between CM Punk and Triple H for there to be no payoff later. But ultimately, it was a good night. It was a fun night. We went to to see one of my college friends afterwards for a couple of drinks. We went back to the hotel, and Tracy was wired. When she has a couple in her, she doesn't usually get tired. She gets kind of wired first. So she was like, "Oh, I'm still, buzzing. Does anybody just want to take a walk or whatever?" I was like, I saw a vending machine earlier in the day when we had checked in, a frozen vending machine that had Choco Tacos, and I was like, "Oh." Now they don't have those anymore. They discontinued those, and I'm so sad because to me those are important because they are an important part of this story. We went there and we went to find that machine only to find out that there were no more chocolate tacos. They'd all sold out.
Oh man.
But we continued to just walk around the hotel, and we hadn't been like super duper close or anything. Tracy had been mostly Elise's friend who she worked with in their department. And it was just she and I, and we wound up becoming surprisingly close and kind of hitting it off. And I thought, oh wow, this is weird. I didn't think this was an option. It was something that I was interested in. Pardon me. But I wrote it off as, you just got flooded out of house at home. You're super vulnerable right now. You're looking too much into this. This is not as deep as you think it is. Leave it alone. So I did. And I moved on until over the course of the next 8 or 9 months, she and I still continued as friends to become closer and closer and closer until it became very clear through oddly, to be fair, a little poking and prodding and eye-opening from my friends that this was a thing. That this was a thing that everybody else could see but me because I'm a dum-dum. And I can see it when if it happens to me, I'm blissfully unaware. It's just a blind spot I've always had. And So I asked her to go be my date to my friend's wedding, and she said yes. And from there, we started dating for real, and we never stopped. Tracy's now my wife. We've been together for 14 years, married for 10. And if it wasn't for the fact that we were both together in an arena in Buffalo at that exact same moment, and then at the hotel as part of a group of friends later, if we hadn't, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be married right now. At least not to her. I wouldn't have my two beautiful children. What my daughter just had her fourth birthday today, as we record this. So wrestling has given me, I realized as I was thinking about this the other day, wrestling has given me a lot, but I don't think anything as impactful and as important as my family, my marriage, my kids. So I guess I bring it up to say that, like, people who don't understand the shit lemons that we make fun of, you know, they could never understand
No.
because they haven't been in my shoes. But like, to me, you can, if it's not to your taste, it's fine. But you can't say it doesn't have any value because it's given me the most important things of my life. Indirectly, sure, but it was a very important domino that fell in my life, was related to wrestling, that it gave me most of the good things I have in my life as a result. So I guess, the reason I brought it up and wanted to discuss this kind of thing was that it's not just wrestling.
No.
It's all the stuff that comes with it. It's all the
Yeah.
social aspects that come with it that it gives you
Mm-hmm.
when you have those common passions with other people.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm always going to defend pro wrestling, even though it's full of a whole bunch of stupid carnies. They're just like, like 80% of them are like the worst people you'll ever meet. I will always, to my dying breath, defend pro wrestling because it gave me everything. So
Yeah.
that, I guess, was what I wanted to impart upon our audience, is that the passion that we have, it's reinforced because we have these things that we've been afforded because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I got a lot out of wrestling.
Yeah.
And I got a best buddy. I got a lot of self-confidence, a lot of other things that wrestling has given me, and I will defend it. I will defend it with everything I got. If you, God forbid, someone actually say some of that ship living shit to my face, because there's a 20-year corked up ass whooping waiting for you, bro. Like,
He
I
been
am.
waiting.
I've been waiting. Somebody's going to uncork this thing. It's going to be somebody going, wrestling's fake, within arm's reach of me. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, uh,
Yeah.
it's a passion they'll never understand. And that in itself makes me a little bit sad, because I want people to be able to experience this level of fervor, like
Yeah.
I love this so much that I want to share it with people. I want people to see why I'm so passionate about it. But like, when I think about it now, especially now, I understand that it's incredibly hard for those people to get this level of passion, because, I mean, I started my wrestling journey at 5 years old watching a guy get his eyeball dug out with a spike,
Yeah. it,
and
it, it's a
yeah,
hell of a
like,
start.
yeah, like, how do you explain that to somebody and then not have them be horrified if they don't understand wrestling at a fundamental level,
Yeah,
like,
on its face, that's terrifying.
yeah, on its face, it's terrifying, but to me, it's a core memory. It's a core
Yeah,
memory, like it's there along with birthday parties and shit my dad taught me. There's
yeah.
Dusty getting his eye dug out, and
For me, it's Steven Regal getting tombstone on the hood of a car by Fit Finley.
yeah. See, and that sounds terrifying also. Like, hey, man, he held him
Yeah,
upside down and drove his head into the top of a car. Oh my God, that sounds terrifying. But to us, it was amazing.
yeah,
Like, how do you explain that to somebody who just doesn't understand, who thinks it's, just some kids thing? Because a lot of people still have this idea that it's a kids thing, and it's so much not, because it's grown up with us.
yeah,
Like the core audience for wrestling, I believe, at least during my lifetime, has always been me and people in my age group, because wrestling moved away from, like, shortly after the Dusty thing, wrestling started being way more kid friendly. And then
yeah,
us kids became teenagers and the Attitude Era happened. And then we became lethargic adults, and the
yeah,
Ruthless Aggression era happened. And now we're all 40 plus and in our sicko phase, and here's AEW. So
yeah,
it, it's 40 years. It's 40 years of passion that I've given to this thing, and I am afraid that I cannot convey that to somebody who has not spent close to that amount of time watching wrestling, or has not been watching their whole life, and had
yeah,
somebody like my dad who was in the know, like, who understood. Like, my dad back in the day understood kayfabe, and he understood the difference and all that, and he always clued me in. He was like, those guys are fighting, but they'll be at the bar later together. He always dropped little shit like that on me, and I'm like, oh, So I never had
yeah,
this inkling in my head that wrestling was real, but I also knew the effect that it gave me
yeah,
and that it gives us, and I'm afraid that I'll never be able to really, really make somebody else understand that from my perspective, except for other people who are already here. And, but still, I won't trade those people for any amount of ship. You could say I got a million ship Libmans here who are ready to forgive and forget and get into wrestling, and you got to explain it to them. Well,
yeah,
no, man, I'm sorry, but I will take my, couple thousand sickos on Blue Sky over 1,000, a million, 10 million ship Libmans. I'll take, because those people understand me.
yeah.
They understand me at a fundamental level, because wrestling is such a huge part of my life. And yeah, I'll defend it. I mean, I'll defend it. And yeah, I mean, this is what wrestling has given us.
Yeah.
I mean, my
It's
boy's
pretty
got a
rad,
wife
huh?
and kids because of wrestling. I've got my boy here because of wrestling, but we've got this podcast because of wrestling.
We got community
We got a
because of wrestling.
community. Yeah, we got a community because wrestling affords us that community. And yeah, I and that's wrestling for you, man. Like, I mean, I'm sure other people have the same kind of communities, throughout football and soccer and other sports and stuff like that. But I don't think any of them are as deep as ours, man. I'm sorry. Like, you could have been a Dallas Cowboys
Yeah,
fan for 40 years, but you don't know as much about Dallas Cowboys as I do about wrestling. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Like,
Probably not.
probably not. So yeah, that's what it is, man.
Following the Dallas Cowboys for 40 years is like following one wrestler for 40 years.
Yeah,
It's not like following wrestling for
no,
40 years.
right. Like, do you know everything about the NFL and CFL and college ball
Arena,
and arena
yeah.
football all at once? Because that's how it is with us in wrestling. Like, I
NFL
know all.
Europe.
I don't even fucking watch WWE. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I know who's unhappy and is probably about to make a jump. Like, you don't know that in football until they make the trade. Like, you don't
Yep.
know who's, like, you could hear, oh, he's unhappy in the locker room, he's looking for a trade, but then a trade happens, and like, that's not how it is in wrestling. But I
Yeah.
know who's not going to sign their next contract, already, for the most part. So it's just, it's a different world, man. And one thing about wrestling that isn't shared in football and a lot of other sports is that it is the world. It is the everybody. You're like, oh, there's got to be places that don't have wrestling. No, everybody's got fucking wrestling. Everybody. There are promotions that I've heard of through AEW in countries that I didn't know had wrestling. There are promotions in India. There's promotions in Japan. Fuck, they even got a fucking dirt poor ass ring in Africa. All right, like, don't like you can't tell me that wrestling is worldwide. It's a huge thing, and
shout out to those soft ground wrestlers. Not soft ground wrestling, but soft ground wrestlers.
Yeah. Fuck the company because that dude's a scammer. But the kids, I'm all for them. Like, bring them over here, get them really.
The kids are all right, baby.
Yeah, the kids are all right. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I can say about it. I don't know how to explain to people what this passion is like without them having 40 years worth of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our wrestling domino falls. And what wrestling has given us in our lifetime. And I can only hope that our listeners who are as equally fervent about wrestling as we are have experienced some sort of joy in the way that it's given us this like real, like tangible, like it's not a parasocial thing just through the TV. Like we have this real tangible, relationship with people that we met in this world. And I think that's kind of the point. Wrestling is for everyone. Wrestling brings people together.
Yeah.
It's a bright, shiny spot in a fucking awful hellhole that we're living in right now. And yeah, that's just what it is. Speaking of hellholes though, that was our show for the week. And it is a shitty world out there, y'all. So keep your head on a swivel. We love you very much. Thank you for joining us this week. See you next week. And as always,
thank you to our sponsors.
Oh God. Oh yes. You know what? Before I say fuck guys and yeehaw fuck the law. Thank you to our sponsors, Team Disaster Plan and Weirwood and Prognostic Pedals. Also, thank you very much to Garrett Deming for our wonderful theme song. And thank you to Weirwood for the background music and all that good stuff. And thank you to Reaper for providing this this little small time editor and promoter and producer a free copy of the software that we now edit our podcast with. So,
hey.
Thank you, Reaper, for that also. Yeah, as always, keep your head on a swivel out there. Dangerous world. We love you. Fuck guys.
Fuck guys.
Peace.